hang on to your seat, baby, cause this one's a screamer. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
What is going on, Entertainment? So I'm coming to y'all with another video. So in this video, you guys, I'm going to be doing a panel based on what happened with Deja Vu with trans women and women in general. I'm going to be bringing everyone up about one by one just to introduce themselves and let them know who you are, and also let them know what do you identify as, either he, she, they, and them. Okay, so please just everybody on the panel, please do respect that. I'm probably going to have other people start trickling in throughout later in this recording because I sent everybody the link. Hopefully everybody can join, but I reached out. You guys saw me post it, so anybody could have joined. I made sure to message anybody back. Sorry if I have missed anyone, but yeah, so let's get it started. First off, Cash.
Hey, it's Cash, the big one, not the little one with the little black eye.
Okay, and you identify she, her. Okay, and we have Portia.
Hi, I'm Portia.
And you identify as she?
She, yep.
Yes, okay. And then we have Nadila. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Nadilia. That's
Nadilia,
okay. I am a transgender woman, and I go by she and her. Okay. I hope everyone can see that.
Yeah, period.
Hello.
No, she ball, y'all. She ball. And then we have Nemesis.
Hey, you guys, it's Nemesis. I go by she, her, that girl, okay?
Period.
Okay.
Period.
And next we have Jay.
Yep, I go by she, Jay, him, he, him. Y'all know.
Period. Do you by any chance you told me in the DMs you're trans? Is that okay for me?
Yes, trans man.
Okay, yes. So we have a trans man also on this panel as well. And then we also have somebody who just joined, CC. What's up, CC? Hello? Okay. Wait, CC, you there? Oh, I hear wrestling. Okay, we're gonna let her join if she just joined back. Okay, so first I wanted to start off with what this panel is about. So Deja Vu happened, and basically there was a lot of talk because of the issues dealing with some of the stuff that Tasha K said, how some of the trans girls behaved during the show. So I want to be asking everyone so far what they thought about the reunion in general, not more so in specifics. Before I do that, CC just joined. What's going on, CC?
Hey, Boo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
All right, and you identify, of course, as she, her, of course, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so yeah, of course, Deja Vu caused a lot of controversy. I want to ask you guys, just overall in general, what do you guys thought of the reunion? First, we're gonna start off with Cash. What did you think of the reunion in general? Not specific.
Overall, the reunion, it just showed a lack of respect. It showed the lack of decorum that they should have just because they have trans women on the show. And they have them on multiple shows. So if you're going to showcase trans women, respect them as such.
Okay, and Portia, what did you think of the reunion in general?
I believe, like the other caller said, it's a lot of confusion as far as how it goes. I think they need to get it in order a lot as far as, like, you know, with people putting their hands on each other and the respect level of, you know, the trans and the women versus the women thingy. So yeah.
All right, and Nadilia, I don't want to pronounce it wrong the whole life. Can I call you Nadi?
Okay. You can call me Leah.
Leah, okay, perfect. Leah.
Well, just like the other caller said, I don't really like the way people were portrayed. I don't condone violence, and I especially don't condone violence between male and females. Let's call it what it is, even though I'm a transgender woman, I know that I was born male, and if I would fight a girl, 10 times out of 10, I would win. So it's not even a fight. So why would you go there? I don't understand. And for me, it just shows that they're still men at heart, and they just think because you put on a wig and bought a few titties and some of them bought an ass, now they can fight women. It's weird.
Okay, Nemesis, what did you think of the reunion overall?
I feel like it starts with the network. Because if this was on or in VH1 or MTV, they wouldn't be on there acting like that. So I think overall, I blame the network. Then I trickle down to Black women, women. I'm not even gonna say race. Women in trans women. You know, we are up here representing ourselves, and we're supposed to always even though it's ratchet TV, it doesn't always have to give so much. I felt like somebody just told them, fight for your lives, and they took it literally. They took it literally. Like, I just feel like it starts with the network. We need to start holding these networks accountable for a lot of behavior that they allow to happen. That's my opinion.
All right, and Jay, what did you have to say about it?
I honestly felt like it was a hot mess. Like, it gave me anxiety watching it. Like, I feel like they shouldn't have even. Like, I already knew when they said Tasha K was on there. I already knew how Tasha K felt about the LGBTQ community. Right. I already knew it wasn't gonna go right. So when I peeped everything from when it first came on. When Kenzie didn't even want to sit on stage, I had already peeped. Like, Kenzie, like, nah, this ain't finna work out. Like, this ain't. Then Tasha K, like that, it was just disrespectful, a hot mess. Like, I do understand, like I didn't watch Kenzie from the beginning, so I love Kenzie. Like, I feel like Kenzie do come off like aggressive, like Joy more so act like a lady. Like, if I could, you feel me, say it like that, like Joy more so act like a lady. Kenzie like aggressive, but it's like Joy more antagonizing. So it's like in that aspect, like, what do you do as a cis or a regular woman? Like, if they into it, like I always had a question, like, if who do you fight? Like, what if a trans not around? So, like, if you being disrespected, you just being disrespected. I felt like Kenzie had every right to do what she did, and that's just how I feel about that. All right,
Cece, how do you feel about the reunion just in general?
I didn't get to watch the full reunion. I saw a couple of clips here and there, but.
Wait, your audio is glitchy, Cece. I know you told me the Wi-Fi near you isn't the best.
Yeah. Is it?
It's a little bit better now.
Okay, yeah. It's the divide that it exists between, trans women and people. I think it's just a dangerous thing.
Wait, it's glitching in and out. Go out and then come in again.
Okay.
All right, so first thing I wanted to do is play a clip of how sort of like the thing escalated. Of course, if I miss any moments from this, I do apologize, but this is how the whole situation ended up happening, just to give a little bit of refresher.
Joyce, I met you at Playground. I love you to death. I'll vibe with you. But my thing is, and Kenzie, you already know, it's going to got something to do with you, but not really like bad. But how can you become back with a friend who ran up on you for fighting somebody else? I'm never being friend with a bitch who beat me up in my head. So I just want to know the reason why.
Okay, so listen.
But this is a reunion question. Who says I'm going to be friend? I'm not on season 2, so why would I be on a reunion?
You literally are on a reunion.
Me and you. This is the reunion?
Yes, we're on the reunion. Hello. You didn't know that? I'm a new bitch. You're a new bitch.
I'm not a new bitch.
She an old hoe.
I'm OG.
Well, bitch, I like being a new bitch. Bitch, introduce me.
Wait, did you watch season 1?
No,
I
watched
season 1.
Like everybody was on the phone.
Niggas told me. But listen. Holly, niggas told me that you went up to them personally and told them I was a tranny.
I didn't. Stoney did, baby.
Niggas told me personally.
Hold
Niggas told me that you went up to them personally and told them I was a tranny.
I didn't. Stoney did, baby.
Niggas told me personally.
Stoney the same one that told you.
She be talking to Stoney every day.
But they wouldn't say Holly came up to me and told me.
I didn't know you was one. No, I didn't know you was one till Stoney told me after when she was doing my hair at her house. She was like, you don't feel comfortable saying it because you feel like people gonna judge you. And I said,
but regardless of the fact that anything, like, niggas came back to me and told me, like, oh, Holly said you was friends. Holly said you
the last time I talked about you was when I seen you with Stoney, and I said, damn, who's that? She pretty as fuck. She was like, oh, that's Joy. She has something to baddies. I said, for real? And you was quiet the whole time. You just vibing and chilling. But then 3 weeks later, when she did my hair, and we was talking about some shit, she was like, yeah, she don't really like to talk about it because she don't want nobody to judge her.
Hey, yo, DJ.
She pretty as fuck.
You got music, bro?
Cause I didn't know that, baby.
What's the fucking music?
I didn't know that DJ. She told me.
Yo, Kenzie, you want to be a DJ?
I don't walk around talking about nobody.
But yeah, that's where I really started feeling the way with you because it's like.
Access at the reunion.
So you can tell me what niggas.
Okay, reunion. We can say.
You know, I can call and shit that shit real quick.
And afterwards, this ended up happening.
Said that was true.
But you moved like it was true. You came at me like it was true.
Why you feel away if you said it was true?
Let's have dialogue.
You're a replacement.
I'm not a replacement, baby. I'm season 1, baby. I'm season 1.
And then afterwards, this ended up happening.
That's why you be getting beat up all the time. You don't listen.
What the fuck do you mean? What the fuck do you mean, bitch? Are you Bitch, what the fuck do you mean, he, bitch? What the fuck do you mean, bitch? Are you done? Let me throw this bitch. She called me a he.
Get the glass. Get the glass. Get the glass. Don't let nobody get no bottle. Get the bottle. I heard somebody.
Joyce, just hold down. Joyce, we about to get off the bus. So just wait till we get off. Wait till we get off. Get in front of her.
You a throwback hoe.
You right there.
You a throwback hoe. You a throwback hoe. Who is her? Who is her?
Hey, Joyce, we about to get off. Wait, we about to get off the bus. Joyce, we about to get off the bus, Joyce. Just wait. You got 2 minutes.
Kenzie just knocked your bitch ass out. You still friends with her, stupid bitch. Diamond just knocked your bitch ass out and you still friends with her. Yeah, bitch, you ain't gonna
We about to get off. Stand up, friend. We about to get off. Handle your business. Get outside. No. You doing all that? You nowhere near her. Enough. You nowhere near her. Enough.
Like, bitch, you up here friends with a bitch who gets fucking hurt. I don't have my fucking shit. So I'm not fighting a bitch if I don't got my purse with my band. So if my 44-inch wig come out, y'all paying for it. So I don't have my shit. Y'all got my purse.
Out here, we can't control.
Bitch, you still friends with 2 bitches who beat your ass. Bitch, I just watched it.
Okay, so then this further escalated to them getting into it at the actual location with this. All right, so I want to open the floor to each of you guys individually. First, starting off, before then, Cece, we're going to add you to the panel. Let me hear you talk. I just want to make sure audio-wise you're good.
Is it doing a little bit?
Yeah, way better. Can you introduce yourself and what do you identify as?
I'm Cece. I'm female, her.
Okay, perfect. And then Naya.
Hello.
Hello. What do you identify as? Of course, she, her.
Yeah, she, her.
Okay, perfect. All right. First, I want to start with you guys. please don't mind. Once I start removing people, stay backstage. Like I said, if you want to be added, turn your camera either on, give me a wave, or also in the private chat, say, hey, add me, I have something to say. Because that way it creates less confusion and chaos. I don't want everybody talking at once and then nobody gets their point across. Okay, so first I want to start off with Portia and Leah. Let me know what you guys have to say about the whole situation.
I first have to say that Joyce, she just gets on my nerves. She just is an antagonizer all the time, even from South Central baddies. It's like she just gets on my nerves to where even she will take you to the point to where you would want to reach out and touch her. Do I feel like it's right or wrong? I feel like it's wrong. Keep your hands to yourself. But I would have to get away from her because I would reach out and hit her. I would, because she gets on my nerves.
All right. So, Leah, how do you feel about Joyce? You being a trans woman yourself, how do you feel just about Joyce in general? And then also with this situation with Holly, do you think she had a right to react the way that she did for Holly allegedly telling other people that she was trans?
No. Why are you like so upset if you make the choice? Yeah, I have a cat. He's like making noise. Sorry. No, I feel like if you're a transgender woman or a transgender man, if you make that choice, make it because you feel that you are a trans man or woman. And why would you feel threatened or mad if people say to other people that you are what you are? Like I don't get that. I don't really see that as shade. Sometimes it's also for our own protection, because if people don't know, they just assume you're a woman or you're a man, it can cause problems for the person that's trans. So I don't really get it. And I don't like the whole he said, she said. Like people can say whatever about me, but if I'm not there, like I always say, if you speak about me and I'm not there, then you're just scared of my presence. So I don't really care what you have to say because you won't say it to my face. So, and I don't get triggered that easily. I'm 34, and I'm like, maybe if I was 21, but still then I already had that thing. Like I don't fight women. Like even as a trans woman, I would never fight a woman. Even if a woman would hit me, she can never hit me that hard that I need to beat her up. Like for what? I don't need to prove to nobody that I can handle myself. Like if I would have a fight with a girl, I would beat up her man. I would be like, your girl's tripping. I'm gonna beat you up and show her, don't try me. Because I will not hit a woman, but I will hit your man.
Okay. All right. Like I said, anytime I remove you, please stay backstage. I will add people back up, like I said. Okay. Cece, what did you think about the whole situation that you just saw? And as a trans woman, do you think that Joyce has the right to fight Holly?
I think she definitely has the right to fight. Like Megan once said, anybody can get slapped. So, as far as the girl that was speaking, baby girl, you better than me. Because if somebody touches me, you're going to definitely get touched back. For sure, man or woman.
Okay. And then Nemesis, what did you think of the whole situation? And do you think Joyce had the right to fight Holly, or Holly had the right to hit Joyce?
I feel like this, they are being put in these situations, right? And I feel like as humans, we respond. Some things trigger people to respond, but you also have to remember that you are a man at the end of the day, and these are women, and it sucks that we need it needs to be a show. I really like the idea that Deja Vu is putting trans women together, but like I said, once again, the representation of it sucks that it's trickling down to what people already thought. What if a guy hits the girl, and I hate that. But I felt like all in all, baby, when them cameras on, this world star.
You think it sort of triggers the whole
thing. I'm being real.
Situation? Okay. All right. So, yeah. Jay, what did you think of that fight specifically, and do you think Joyce has the right to have gotten on Holly or Holly has had the right to hit Joyce. Either scenario. Can you hear me? Jay, you still there? I don't think he can hear.
Yeah, I ain't even. My bad. I'm in the daze.
No, you're good. I was sure. I was like, hold this thing trigger.
So how I feel about the situation? I feel like it all started from where I didn't even hear when Holly called Joy him or he. I didn't even know that happened. So I feel like they could have argued back and forth all day, but like you was just saying you respect the trans community. Whatever you go by is what I'm gonna call you. So as soon as you get mad, you referred to Joyce as a he. So it was like that was triggering for Joyce. So I feel like after that it was like that's when Joyce was trying to charge her and then all that happened. So but then it came to be when Holly tried to charge at Joyce. So it's like, do I let you charge and tackle me? No, I feel like Joyce had every right to hit Holly back once Holly charged at her. So it was just like, I just felt like once somebody charged at you, it's just best off. Like man or woman, like I'm gonna defend myself. So that's just how I feel about it. It ain't right, but it's just life. Like you gotta defend yourself if anybody charged at you, man, woman, whatever the case may be. Because what if a trans not around to fight for me? I had to fight for myself. So that's just how I feel about it.
All right. Ray Bay, can you introduce yourself to the panel, and then what do you identify as? Ray Bay, you still there?
I'm here, but I am not ready. Can you come back to me?
Okay, you're good. All right. Cash, you said you wanted to speak on this topic. So what did you think of that fight in specifics? And who do you think was in the wrong in that specific fight between Joyce and Holly?
In all honesty, I do not feel like anybody was in the wrong. They both reacted the way they reacted. At the end of the day, I said it on one of your lives. Now that's TV has to realize that involving alcohol and trying to have try to get the discussion and trying to have the conversation is never going to work. These girls are clearly drunk. And the fact that Holly, at the end of the day, and some women do it, we cannot say, I'm not even going to say we. Some women cannot say they support trans women and then turn around and at the inkling of an issue, start to disrespect trans women.
All right.
I heard Holly say herself, I think after they got into it, she was like, yeah, because you a nigga and I get you killed and you will get killed. And all of that does not need to happen. Because at the end of the day, trans women get killed and women get killed. We both get killed by the same type of individuals. So we need not to be putting that type of illness on each other of, oh, you could get killed and this person could get killed. Because we both getting killed at alarming rates. Black women and trans women are both being killed. So I feel like pushing it to that extreme, it does not need to go there.
Right. Nemesis, you said to bring you up. Did you want to interject on this?
Yeah, I was piggybacking off what she said. Pretty much, the conversation needs to be had first, and we can't have it with alcohol present. You know, it needs to be a serious conversation had, and I felt like now it was on Now That's TV, right?
Yes.
That was their moment that they really could have had capitalized off of. Even the show idea, the idea of mixing it together, you know, I just felt like the representation was just done so wrong. It could have been executed way better, even if they were going to argue, because we're human. We're going to argue. We're going to fuss. We're going to fight. They was out there filming and stuff. So, you know, tension rises. But I felt like it was fumbled in the way they carried themselves and put alcohol with it. It was not gonna, it didn't give what it was supposed to give. You know, like I said, I know it's ratchet TV. It's ratchet TV, okay? This is not no on network. This is not no Oprah project. But still, I gotta blame the trans women, and I gotta blame us girls because we could have really did this better. We took an L with this one. It was a major L. I'm sorry.
Right. So, Naya, you haven't spoken on this. What do you think about this fight between Joyce and Holly? Who do you think was in the wrong, and what do you just think about it in general?
I honestly think both of them were wrong. Generally, Holly shouldn't have charged at her like she wanted to fight her, and Joyce probably shouldn't have put her hands on her. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's more like they probably need to have more mutual respect for each other, and just like at the end of the day, like we're all women, we identify as women, so let's just have that respect for each other as women. Just because somebody puts your hands on you, I definitely do think you should defend yourself at the end of the day, regardless if they're male or female. But you shouldn't even be arguing with somebody to get to that point where you're putting your hands on the opposite, or like, you know what I'm trying to say.
Okay. And also, I want to open the floor to two new people that just joined right now. I have Ovokor and Blue, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Hi, Pierre. Oh my gosh, I did not think you were going to pick me. I'm at Target right now, but okay. I'm really,
Can you let us know first what you identify as she, her, I'm guessing?
She, her, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then also we have another caller, Michiko.
Michiko, hi Pierre. I'm so sorry. I know I was supposed to join at 9.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're not the only late one.
I'm not late.
No, I said you're not the only late one. All right. What do you identify as?
I identify as she, her.
Okay. All right. So next thing I wanted to get onto is, what do you guys think of Tasha K as a host and also as a person? Starting off with Jay.
As a host, I just think not for the trans community, not for that type of show. Like, really, I don't really think Tasha K should be. Maybe because she asked the questions that nobody would ask, she really not scared to. Mm-hmm. But as far as the Now That's TV trans community host and stuff with trans people or anybody of the LGBTQ community, no, I don't think she should be a host. And I honestly don't think she is a good person. Like, the stuff she says, like, is real degrading, and like to put somebody else down the way she does is just not someone of a good person. Like, you can disagree with something and do it in a respectful way, but the way she does it just doesn't give me good person.
Okay. Now, Leah, what do you think of Tasha K as a host for this reunion and also as a person?
As a host, I think in some areas she's really good because she's good for views. Let's say that. Maybe she's not a good host because she has certain opinions about the trans community that she has the right to have. And maybe she should have been more professional and just leave that at the door, or just keep it a buck and just be like, yeah, I feel that because you were born male, I just see you as a male, and that's just my opinion. But if you want me to refer to you as a woman or as she as her, just she can do that. But if she doesn't want to, she doesn't have to. And I don't think that as a person she's wrong. I think she's very entertaining. What I feel like, I've been trans for almost 14 years, and I think a lot of trans people want acceptance from other people. I don't feel like that. I want acceptance from myself. And if I accept myself, I don't care what anybody else thinks or says, because that's their right. And yeah, I just like her as a woman. I don't know if she would like me, but that's beside the point. Because I think if you want respect, you should give it. And I think a lot of people in the trans community just demand respect, and I don't think you should want respect from people that don't like you.
Okay, and also if you guys ever feel anybody that's up on the panel, if you guys have an opinion on what someone says, and you guys want to not interrupt them, but if you want to say something after they're done, please, feel free to do so. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I got something to say then.
Okay. Yeah.
So with the Tasha K and the Kenzie incident, Kenzie didn't really say much when Tasha K was like, "But you or him," So like, that just came like you're now just being disrespectful at me, like when there's no need to. So like, what you saying like people don't have to respect you, like. So are you saying like Tasha K was right and Kenzie was wrong for feeling the way that she felt when Tasha K did refer to her as a him, or like you feel like it doesn't matter what they refer to, like if somebody referred to you as him, you wouldn't feel, you would just be like, okay, cool, like.
It wouldn't bother me because I know who I am, and I don't have to prove who I am to nobody. If somebody tells me I'm a him, well, I was born male. I lived as a male for almost 20 years, so I wouldn't be like offended. I would maybe think like, okay, that wouldn't be like someone I want to hang out with or someone I want to be involved with, like as a friendship or something. But people have their opinion, and why would you? Is it? It could be offensive, but that's only if you're seeking validation and acceptance from other people. You should accept yourself and love yourself and know who you are, so no one can tell you who they think you are. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it do. But like I don't really, like me personally, like I don't really look for validation from anyone. Like I know who I am, I know what I want to be, I know like everything like that. But like as far as like I do go through like the Holly and Joy situation, like as far as like people referring to me as he, him, and then as soon as a problem happens, they want to bird out she or you a girl, this will happen to you, this, that, and the third. So it'd be like, okay, I don't really like. I let it go. Like I do just brush it off because I really don't need the validation. But it still
You're
makes
saying
you
it's a
feel some type of
respect
way.
thing.
Yeah, it's like a respect thing. It still makes you feel some type of way. So like when it keeps being done, like you just like a reaction is a reaction. Like it's just like I don't know. Like if that makes sense.
I honestly, sorry to cut you off.
No,
I
you can.
honestly feel like as a host, like it's one thing to be an individual on the street. That's different. Take them as they are. You could walk away. It's different. As a host, it has to be a respect level for everybody that you are about to interview, that you're about to question. It has to be a certain respect level. So for her to come in so disrespectful, it kind of rubbed all trans women that were sitting present a wrong way, and that's why Kenzie reacted the way that she reacted. So I definitely understand why Kenzie reacted the way she reacted towards Tasha K, because Tasha K honestly came in very disrespectful. And not just to trans women, she came in disrespectful to women. And once you fought for her, like Cologne did, and Cologne is not even a trans woman,
Exactly.
now she's ready to call you a girl. Now she's ready to respect you. And it's like, that's crazy. That's asinine.
All right. So, Cece, what do you think of Tasha K as a person and as a host from the little bits of clips that you just seen?
Well, I think that we have to remember that a woman, she's a more grown woman, and she has a more older view on the LGBT, of the girls in the LGBT community, trans women. I think there's going to be something deep rooted in her.
It's going in and out, but I could pick up what you're saying. You're saying it's deep rooted.
Yeah, like
Okay.
figure it out within herself because she has such animosity toward the girls, and I think she's in her ways. Like I said, she's from another generation, so.
Do you think it's something that happened in her past with like the community? Is that why she acts the way that she does? Because I think that's the reason.
I think it could be for
Okay. All right. Try to go out and in again because I don't want your audio to mess up the whole time because I want to hear what you have to say. Also, Ray Bay, I'm adding you up now. Of course, what do you identify as? She, her? You said that before.
I identify as she and her.
Yes. And what do you think about Tasha K as a person and as a host?
Tasha K is a troll as a person. She is a troll, a big troll. As a host, she's great because, like everyone's saying, she's gonna ask the questions that everyone's thinking, everyone wants to know. But she's just disrespectful. I just felt like she violated personally. So I could see, like the person speaking before, I could see why Kenzie went off the way that she did. I just feel like I was just brought up to respect people. My little brother is a part of the community. My older cousin is. My aunt is. She's been with her partner for over 20 years. So I've been exposed to it growing up. And my grandma loved and accepted everyone. So I love and accept everyone. And if you want to be a woman, I'm going to treat you as so. So I just feel like, I feel like it's just a thing of respect. You have to respect everyone.
All right. So Naya, what do you think about Tasha K as a person and as a host?
I think she's a good host, as in like what everybody else has said, is that she will ask the hard questions. But I really don't even feel like we really got to get to those questions a lot because she started a lot of mess with the cast, and she wanted to. I feel like she wanted to be in the mess, which a host isn't supposed to want to be in the mess. They're supposed to clear the mess up. So I think that's where she messed up, was trying to get involved in their drama unprovoked. And then also, I don't know. Tasha K is not my type of person. I used to watch her back in the day, but like ever since like the whole Cardi B thing has happened, I just like try to stay clear of people that aren't like positive. Is basically what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. And Blue, what do you think about Tasha K as a person and as a host?
Hello? Are you talking to me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so one of the things I really want to focus on is that, like, these people are actors. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's reality TV, like, I don't think anybody on this panel or that, listens to this stuff really probably knows this woman in real life. So her whole intent and her whole makeup is just to be this hateful troll. So when I can't remember her name, but speaking earlier, she really expressed it very well that, like, I know who I am. Like, this woman who is doing this for entertainment, like, how could you let that kind of affect you? On the other end, words are powerful. You know what I'm saying? Words are very, very powerful. So I think that there's definitely a disconnect with the audience because, like we've already addressed, and the reason why we're having this panel, do these things really happen and really occur in real life, like with real people with real personalities? And I think that's what I try to think about when I'm watching these shows. I'm like, God, this is horrible, but it's like, do people really act like this? Like, I guess that's my question. Like, people really act like how horrible she is in real life? Because the people that I know, the Black trans that I know, the white trans that I know, it's a different relationship with them. They're not these, they're like I said, they're doctors, they're lawyers. Like, so the perspective on them is just very different. So to see this show, it just feels like a show. Like, that's what it is, a show,
So you don't see some of the stuff that happened on the show occurring in real life?
I think some of the things with the argument between women, trans women and women that were, I believe it's cisgendered women, or I think that's the word that's used. Those sorts of arguments, I mean, I've never been engaged with one, and I've known trans people all the way growing up. And it was like, if you are a woman and you are accepting of women, you're not judgmental of women, then we will accept you as a woman. But if you're one of those women, like how there was one episode where they were throwing pads and tampons at them, like those are moments where it's like, wait a minute, like now you're on the misogynistic side. Now you're attacking women. So it's like, women who stand with women are like that. It's a category, you know what I'm saying? And if you identify as a woman, and you stand with women and you stand with those ideals, then you can consider yourself a woman, Because like I know a lot of people that were biologically born female that aren't women. You know what I'm saying? Being a woman is a lot more than just having a part. You know, it's a maturity.
Somebody was trying to interject.
I have to kind of disagree a little bit, just because growing up in the community and seeing trans women growing up, they are sometimes attacked unwillfully for no reason, just for being who they are. And it's not them attacking women. It's not them not being in a sisterhood. It's just them being who they are. So it's a slippery slope. It's a scale that it doesn't leverage at all, in no way, because some trans women, they don't, face discrimination because they're not clockable. And I could say that because it's even trans women that are in the industry. It's a trans woman that was the coach in the Cheetah Girls, and nobody clocked her T, and that's why she was never persified or vilified for being a trans woman. Whereas when they could clock your T, a lot of times they do discriminate against you. A lot of times they do have an issue with you for no reason.
All right, so I want to touch on Kenzie. So of course on the episode, we see this reunion sort of start off, and then Tasha K calls out the two people that are being escorted off the stage and says that, well, it's only one woman and not the other. So I want to take a quick look at it for those who missed it.
Tasha, you ready for this? I'm not fucking ready. I got my security by my damn self. There's not enough security here for these motherfuckers today.
Tasha, it's a lot going on.
It's a lot going on. We already had to escort 2 bitches out. Well, 1.
What's the other one?
No, I don't know. We'll figure it out later.
Oh my God.
Because I don't agree with that.
I know we had a whole conversation.
Men are men, women are women.
Okay, what's that mean?
What that mean is
women are women.
No.
Yes,
women are women. Was you born a woman? Okay, yeah, come sit down. Tasha K, that's who the fuck I am. Okay, well, welcome Kenzie K to the stage. Your name is right there anyway. You were supposed to be sitting there. But were you born a woman?
It don't matter what you want.
It does, yes, I was. Okay. Can you have babies?
And I don't want none.
Okay.
Got 2 of them already.
By who? By who? What
They
came out the asshole. Don't take my money. Don't take my money. Don't take my money. I got 3 niggas. You're not finna do that. Hey, Shaq. What we not finna fucking do, because I'm gonna have niggas on
All right, so I'm going to stop it right there. Of course, it ends up getting a little bit more volatile with Kenzie having to be escorted out with security guards. So first, I want to start off with it took the whole screen. I didn't see that. I'm going to start off with Leah. What did you think about Tasha K saying that, just that statement out in general, women are women and niggas are niggas?
Well, I was actually laughing because I was like very entertaining, and I know it's like transphobic to say, but she's there to entertain, and I don't know if they have problems like outside the show, but I don't even live in America, and I've seen some videos from trans women from America that really disrespect women, and I think that's where some of the animosity comes from. Because to be honest, like women have always been very nice to me, even growing up as a kid that they always thought that was gay because I was very girly and everything.
Were you in Holland for most of your life? I just want to clarify. She lives in Holland, you guys, if you guys do not know.
Yeah, I live in Holland.
All right.
So in Europe. And to be honest, I think that's where the animosity comes from women like Tasha K, because maybe she's helped trans women or gay men in the past, and a lot of times they get shitted on. You know, like a lot of people don't want to talk about the way that a lot of trans women and gay men express themselves is a lot of times like lingo that Black women use, and they get like disgraced for it. And when we do it, it's like, yo, girl, you slaying, you this, you that. It's all positive. And I can understand that, like, because if it was a trans woman that was talking like that, no one would really have the same animosity, but because it's a woman and also a dark skinned woman, they're like, how can you talk like that? But she's still a woman, she's still a person, she still has the right to be whoever she wants to be.
All right. So, Jay, what did you think of that clip and that whole situation with Tasha K?
I feel like I really felt shoot, like basically like Kenzie, like women are women, men are men. But if Kenzie does choose to identify as a woman, then that's just what it is. Like you're not gonna like everybody doesn't just come around treating people a certain type of way. Like, but you do come across those people that do is just ignorant and just do stuff like that. So I just feel like me, I don't go around problematic and bothering people, but it's certain people that just are just disrespectful or just not with whatever I'm doing, and that's fine. But I feel like either you got to learn how to just let that ride, walk away, and not do so much towards it, or just like I don't know, just living your truth. Like if it I don't know, like I don't really know how to express nothing on that situation. I'm just I don't know.
You just felt like overall it was just wrong.
Yeah, it was just wrong to me. Like I said, it gave me anxiety. Off back, I wasn't with the Tasha K movement.
Right. All right. So, Nemesis, what did you have to say about that clip specifically as to what Tasha K had to say? Also, how Kenzie reacted.
I felt like them even getting Tasha K the host, knowing the controversy that she had in her, against, with T.S. Madison and all that with the trans comments and stuff, I felt like getting her to host was a troll in one. But I also felt like Kenzie was violating her personal space. You can get your point across without touching someone, but Tasha K words was cutting like a knife. It felt like her words were touching him without even physically touching him, So I understand why she felt like she might have needed to attack, but I just felt like it could have been handled better, because it began to look like, okay, now you are a big motherfucker pointing and touching her, It did get to the point where you crossing the line, she crossing the line, but you taking it further to hell. You're dragging it out. And I felt like instead of them gyrating for the whole reunion, that conversation could have been had. He could have had his moment where he told Tasha K, like, look, this is how you making me feel. So I feel like once they knew Tasha K was hosting, they should have had a strategy where I'm going to come on here, I'm going to represent myself to the best I can, because I know she's coming on here to troll. She's coming on here to get me out of my element and to take me out of character.
So you're saying Kenzie, she should have played it smarter, knowing how Tasha K is?
Yes. She should have played it smarter. Because I know they knew that Tasha K was hosting.
Gotcha.
She should have played it smarter. She shouldn't have let Tasha. I'm sorry, what you said?
No, go ahead.
Oh no, she shouldn't have just let Tasha K words cut her, because now Tasha K has a platform. Regardless, people don't like her, she still got a platform. She is going to be now known as the trans woman that was at a reunion putting her hands on the host. You get what I'm saying? That's going to be the stain on her resume forever now. And I just think she did that to herself, because it seems like Kenzie probably was the season. Kenzie probably made that season.
Right.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I don't really think that it was looked at as on my part. I don't think that it was looked at as Kenzie being like the trans woman that attacked Tasha K. I kind of look at it as Tasha K attacked Kenzie. Like basically, I feel like Kenzie could have walked away because, like you said, Kenzie is really the show. Like Kenzie just could have been like, all right, this what's going on, I'm finna leave. and they would have the whole reunion. We would have been watching them chase Kenzie out the door, trying to get Kenzie to stay.
Facts.
So like, I feel like Kenzie could have been the bigger person, but okay, I already know what Tasha K on. I already know how she feel, and I'm gonna just stand on who I am, and I'm gonna say what I gotta say. If it ain't getting my point across, I see it's being more disrespectful. I'm finna get up and I'm finna leave, and y'all gonna watch everybody try to get me because I am the reunion. I am this show because y'all already didn't have multiple people pull up to the show to the reunion.
But I think
That's
that
why all
has
these
to.
extra people here
Kenzie's not
anyway.
healed though. Kenzie needs to heal. Kenzie's not in the place like somebody else on the panel who said, you know, I'm comfortable with who I am. It don't bother me how nobody else feel about me. Kenzie's not in that place. It's obvious she's not in that place. She hollered too much.
Right. It seemed like she was
She
coming from a place of
argue you
hurt.
down.
She knew.
Yeah, she's not at that place yet.
I feel like a lot of y'all gotta realize that a lot of people that is on Now That's TV are very young. They are just now coming into themselves.
And they
are
that
just
check.
now learning themselves. They are just
Or do you guys think maybe it's a front for a moment with Kenzie? Because we all done said we done watched on the reviews and the lives on Pierre thing of this whole season of Deja Vu where Kenzie is always trying to get a moment. I think
she's
Tasha
very
K
extra,
and
but I
Kenzie
feel
both
like
was
at
trying
that
to get a
moment,
moment.
sorry to cut you off. I feel like at that moment, Tasha K triggered her.
That you know what? Now that you say that,
Even though you're going
against,
against,
it could be that.
Sorry, even though you're going against somebody else, and you're saying something to them, you are essentially saying it to the same community. So a lot of times people do not realize that when you're attacking one person, sometimes you're attacking a group of people, and if they are present, just like the situation, they may say something. Kenzie said something.
Kenzie is a strong girl. That is a strong lady.
Yeah.
And she got no business fighting on that old lady like that.
What do you think? Okay, Cece.
But no,
Cece's very
but Tasha
opinionated.
K had no business violating her like that though. Like to call her a man, that's
like
you know
it was
like
just too much.
off top. Yeah,
And
off
to
top.
say,
You know what you're doing. Yeah.
You're being provoking, and then when
like,
they're provoked, you're mad at it. It's like, come on, like you
Kenzie
have to
is
pick
diesel.
a side.
I'm trans and I wouldn't even fight Kenzie. She is.
What do you think? Okay, so if that we played a clip before you joined, I wish you was here to see it because you told me you watched a little bit of it, but like you're into and stuff into that TV. But basically, Tasha K said niggas are niggas, girls are girls, or whatever, and Kenzie got really mad and reacted towards Tasha K. What do you think about like basically women being disrespectful when it comes to like, let's say pronouns or just who you are as a person? You are trans.
Well, genetically, of course, like that goes without saying. That's what it is at the end of the day. But if you're gonna, I don't feel no type of way arguing with a bio female. They're gonna always go back to that. They're gonna always revert to the, oh well, you were born a man. Oh well, you know this and that. You know, that's just where the conversation is gonna go because that's their only hitter. That's the only thing that they're really gonna triumph over. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all they really got.
Right. If you can't read, you can't read, sweetie.
What do you think it has to take for Kenzie to get to that place to where she doesn't react the way that she does? And then this question is for Leah and Cece because both of you guys are trans women, and also to you, Jay, because you're a trans man. What do you think will take Kenzie to get to that place where stuff like that doesn't trigger her?
Time. Leah, you said you're 14 years in. I'm 10 plus years in my transition as well. I think just time. She just need to learn to love herself. If it's one thing my auntie Mia once said, if you looking like a man, I'm going to address you like a man. You acting like a man, I'm going to address you like a man. So she just needs to learn how to conduct herself. And, you know, every fight ain't need to be fought.
What about you, Leo?
I feel the same way Cece feels. I think if someone would call me a man, I would just laugh about it because I would be like, yeah, I was born a man. I know that. It's like old news. And also the way Mackenzie reacted was like, you are acting like a dude. You're very confrontational. You're trying to touch her. You're trying to show to her that you have more dominance over her. That's not what women do. Even if women go into each other's faces, it's a different type of energy. And I think if she really wants to be a trans woman, the first thing you need to know is respect women because they're the blueprint and they're graciously enough giving us their spaces. And if you want to be accepted, you need to accept yourself because people can see if you're doubting yourself or if you're like, if you have like low self esteem. And other people sometimes have that too. So they will attack you so they don't have to look at themselves. And if Mackenzie keeps reacting to people like that, she will be fighting her whole life. And I believe
Right.
she deserves more and she deserves love. But you can't accept love if you don't love yourself.
And she, like, then she just started transitioning like yesterday.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was just about
we're
to
watching her
say that.
we watched as she transitioned. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
true.
it's very
Yeah,
fresh, it's
she's
very
changed
new.
every episode. I mean,
Yeah,
every
so
season she's been changed.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
Do
very
you
new
guys
for
think
us.
ask a
that
So
question?
she needs to walk away from Now That's TV in order to grow or take a season off?
probably so.
All right. What was
For
your question,
sure.
Blue?
So I just wanted to ask, like, I think of people like Kenzie who, you know, are early in their transition, very fresh to their transition. But then I think of people like Joyce, you know what I'm saying, who, you know, according to her, that's her lifestyle. Like, she's been a woman her entire life. But I guess, I mean, I'm curious, like, when people like Joyce are like, okay, well, I'm a woman, like, you can't tell me nothing, I'm a woman, like, and then they go against women and try to doubt, like, women experiences and women things, like, I mean, how does that add up? Like, is that trauma? Is that, I don't know, personality type?
I feel like
I
Joyce
also
don't come
have
for
some.
people until somebody mess with her though. Like Kenzie intentionally picks at people. Joyce, I think why we gravitate like fans like her so much because she do present herself as such a woman. That's why
yeah.
I like her
When
personally
Joyce,
because what she gives off when she walks into the room is, you know, I am that bitch when she, excuse my language, when she comes in. But
You guys can
until
curse,
you
by the way. This
mess
is
with
pretty
her,
funny,
she
so don't
don't.
worry.
Until
Okay,
you
like,
mess with her,
Yeah.
she don't pop
Good to
up.
know.
She don't pop off on you until you fuck with her first. Joyce is
that's
when you
true.
fuck with
That's
her
true.
first. Joyce don't fuck with you until you fuck with her first.
That's
Kenzie
I
true.
disagree,
purposely
but
agitates
I
people,
disagree as
but
well.
yeah, I
yeah.
was gonna
but
say on
Joyce
the
that's
Joyce
just what
definitely could
I've
Wait,
start.
what
seen.
did I what
She's
talk? Okay.
messy. She's definitely messy, but as far as with the women, I feel like until you touch her, or I think it takes a lot for her to get there. But Kenzie is just 0 to 100.
Okay.
So
Yeah, but
Jay,
Kenzie does
do y'all
get in
remember?
people's
Do y'all
faces.
remember all the way back to when Joyce was messing with Butter? Do y'all remember Butter?
yeah.
So it's like
But
Butter
Butter,
wasn't Butter
Butter got
wasn't
caught
touching
saying
Joyce.
things.
Joyce, yeah, but she's just saying things. That's enough. Like she
Butter,
just saying
Butter
things. Like
also
Joyce,
got
we
caught
did like Joyce and
taking
Sky because
things.
they came in. They came in. What did it? Cunty? They came in on they. You feel me? Touch my body. They came in. You feel me? We okay. We liked it that we. I did. At least so that was the thing. But it was like okay. Now you're antagonizing Butter. But I didn't look at it as a type of way because I looked at Joyce as a woman. Like she was still giving woman. As far as y'all say, like Kenzie is new in the transition, I feel like Kenzie has a point to prove. Since
True.
on her first
Can I?
journey in Now That's TV, she was just a man still portraying a woman. So her transition began on Now That's TV. So now everybody's still looking at Kenzie as a man trying to be a woman when Kenzie is trying to transition. She's trying to get everybody to accept her now. So she feel like she got a point to prove probably as far as being a woman. That's why it's so triggering now because it's like I'm trying to be the y'all see me trying to be this and y'all still trying to come at me. I understand who I was portraying before, but I'm trying. Like she's probably trying to be Joyce. That's why it's always confrontation between Joyce, Barbie, Sky, all them because they all jealous of each other.
You think
Everybody's
it's like an insecurity type of
they
thing?
they all
I think so,
insecure
too.
about it, but they're all
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah.
May I
but
say something?
say Butter again.
Sorry, am I allowed to say something?
Yes.
Okay, so Kenzie, I'm gonna say this. I am a queer woman who's around queer people, trans women, trans men. I think one big thing that bothers Kenzie is her actual size. Because of that, it's hard for her to pass like other girls, like Barbie, who looks like she's like 5'9" maybe. Joyce, she's shorter. Also, I agree with you that Joyce does not act like a woman. She acts like a little girl. Okay? She acts. She has tantrums. When she threw that at Hood Rat Holly's mouth, that was crazy. That should not have happened. But I think one thing is with Kenzie is that when people point out that she's not, I want to say fish, but I know people don't like that word anymore.
We love that.
Okay, but yeah, but it's because she feels almost left behind from the movement because she feels she's not presenting the way as other people. She needs to accept her size. I don't think she's complete. Sorry.
Can I
don't think,
interject?
sure.
So I'm a 5'10", black woman, athletic build. Growing up, I was like, I had shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Like I played basketball, all the sports, and it took a minute. I'm 25 years old now, and I finally feel like I am comfortable in my body. So that in itself, it just takes time. So when we go back to talk about Kenzie, like we're talking about some major insecurity issues. You see it in how she flips back and forth with how she likes people. Like 1 minute she likes them because of a moment, the next minute she's like, it's just attention.
That's why they're not as TV girls too.
Here's a better example. And now that you brought it up, you guys got to remember the reason why all that happened at the reunion is because now that's TV is now that's set up. They set up everybody that day.
Now that's set up.
They set up everybody that day, and everybody got triggered. I think that Kenzie did too much touching somebody, but the thing is, Kenzie's like 6'5". There's not a lot of 6'5" women that are born like that. I feel like if she was a little shorter, she'd feel more confident, and she just feels like people just keep pushing this boy thing on her, which they kind of are. But I feel when you're a trans girl, you got to kind of be strong. You got to have, you got to know, like, especially like Sylvia Rivera. Back in the day, she was talking about queer rights, 1973, and she was homeless fighting for those rights. And still now, trans people are still struggling when it comes to housing, jobs, being accepted, things of that nature. So that can drive anybody crazy.
All right. So, Portia, what do you have to say about how Kenzie reacted towards Tasha K and what Tasha K had to say?
I think it's more on a mature level. I don't know exactly how old Kenzie is, but like the other callers were saying, it's gonna take time to heal and stop giving people your energy. If you know Tasha K is like that, I would have sat back and laughed and did what I did and represented for myself. But as far as with Kenzie, it's gonna take time and maturity to stop giving people her emotions.
And she needs to stop lying so much.
Yes,
all of a sudden she got a husband. All of a sudden she got 2 kids. Now she got a mansion.
The 2 kids took me
all,
out.
All of a sudden, no, y'all know what I'm talking about. All of a sudden, just out of nowhere, she just got all these things, and I'm confused. I can't. It
but
throws
that
me off.
comes with maturity and knowing herself. She has to say all
trying,
the
y'all.
things
She's
to make
trying.
herself feel good.
Yep,
look, she's trying to live her best life.
But
she gotta lie about it.
But if it's not real, I feel
manifesting.
That's what I say. That's exactly my word. I said, let us know you just manifesting it. Because then
thank you. Yes.
Just
I
put
can
it
do
in
that.
The air.
That makes sense.
Right. All right. So next thing I wanted to get into is what Barbie had to say. So Barbie made a statement that says nobody should put hands on anyone, and Tasha K reacted like this. So they were talking about just the fighting and stuff, just in general, just the fighting that occurred this season, and Barbie felt that everybody should keep their hands to themselves. This caused Tasha K to go off on Barbie, saying a whole lot of things about her being pimped out, etc. Let's take a look.
First of all, every man in this room right now got estrogen in them from the fucking food that we drawing in.
Listen, if you don't want to get hit, don't hit first. Like,
you would say that because you've been pimped your whole life. Don't do that. Don't do that. Hold on. Pimps been beating your ass. Because pimps have been beating your ass. That's all you know is a man beating your ass and putting you out on the motherfucking track. Barbie.
Okay, so what do you guys think about what Tasha K had to say, starting off with Cece?
Girl. See, because Tasha, you can't be saying stuff like that. That's automatic. That's warranted to get your ass slapped. Like,
do you feel that she was shaming her as like a woman and what she's been through?
Absolutely. But wasn't Barbie's story, wasn't she trafficked? Wasn't she, even though she did have, a manager, let's say.
Now, Naya, what do you think about that whole situation and what Barbie said? What Tasha K said towards Barbie after what she said? Hello? Naya, you still there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Basically what I was saying is that I think what Tasha K said was unneeded and it was disrespectful because, like, at the end of the day, if anyone wants to talk slick at the mouth like that, they deserve to get hit. So I'm not understanding why everybody around her was like, Barbie, you need to chill. No, she doesn't, because you disrespected her. You can't, like, expect to throw rocks and hide your hand.
Okay. And do you guys think saying some of the stuff that Tasha K said towards Barbie, do you guys think it's hypocritical to what she stands for and meaning as a woman? Or do you guys think because of Barbie's color, because Barbie is white, do you think that's why Tasha K didn't care about what, she had to say about
Tasha K is not a girl's girl.
No, she's not. She's
not a girl's girl.
It's all that extra, because women, we the life and we the... If you feel that way, you would have felt that Barbie brought life in this world too. Yeah, she's a little, her saying nigga and all that extra shit, you could address that. But all the talking about her pimp and talking about her life that she lived and whatever, that ain't got nothing to do with them being on Deja Vu.
Well,
stop it.
Sorry. May I speak maybe?
Yes.
Okay, so what I kind of think of the situation is, I don't know if you guys believe in astrology, but I've noticed that Pisces women are, Tasha K Pisces, Krishan Pisces, Tamar Braxton Pisces, okay?
That trauma, they run on that trauma, and it's deep.
And so when Barbie said we shouldn't hit nobody, she was just like, I don't want to be on the same side as you. And it just became, I'm going to degrade you and make you feel lower than me because I saw you on the internet doing all them things. That's what it was to me.
Very true.
Now, what do you think, Blue?
Okay, so I was going to say that, like, one, that was just completely unnecessary. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Barbie, mostly because of the way she talks. She says the N-word, just kind of like this inappropriate sort of racial barrier. For some reason, she thinks she can get through. But that sort of language with something like that is just not effective. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get your point across by like her, sit down and have a conversation. Like, but for her to just kind of dig in the way that she, like, accusing, like, that's the worst you can accuse somebody of. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially a woman. Like, that is absolutely insane. So I feel like it was definitely like a poke. More of a scratch.
Well,
but yeah.
No, go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm just
going to... That was one of those moments where I had to remind myself it was a show. So.
Respectfully, her probably did put his hand.
But I do agree that Barbie is always out of line doing some dumb stuff because I've noticed this in the queer community because, I'm going to bring this up. Whenever I go to a gay bar, I am a Black woman, and then I get shunned by the Caucasian queer men who are trying to pretend to be me. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
And I get so they do. So it's a good
Look,
point.
the racism is still there, child. The racism is still there.
Absolutely, but why are you acting like me? And then,
exactly.
Can I tell you guys a
know
story?
We the blueprint, child. You know we the blueprint.
Girl. Can I tell you guys a story? See, the thing is, I know a lot of people are saying that those types of things don't happen in the trans community, like all that action. When I remember my friend was at Steak and Shake and there was a whole debacle. She threw a drink on basically her drag dad. Luckily, he didn't hit her back because he had control of himself. He immediately called the police. She said, "I'm gonna go get your mom pow-powed," and they had to get a restraining order. It got really bad. And also she's like 6'4", and it's hard for her to pass. So she struggles with that. And we were trying to be supportive. We invited her to Steak and Shake. Then ruined the Steak and Shake. And then we had to make paperwork. I was cussing people out online. Don't play with my friend. Don't play with my friend. Go ahead.
Can use your burger and cheese.
Can I say something?
Yes. Go ahead.
I'm like 185 or 84, and I don't think I have a problem passing. I think it's maybe also my body. Like I have hips and booty from myself, not BBL or anything.
Let me see.
Period. Because I seen where you was standing up.
Yeah, you can see it.
Hello. Body. Okay.
It's Tanya. I see you, Tanya.
If I can give any trans woman who's like above 6 feet, I think that's like 180 centimeters, something like that. If I can give them any tools, just work on your body. If you have a very feminine body, people will not clock you that quick. And even if people clock you, just know that any reaction that they give you, it's a reflection of them and not of you.
Yes.
Because
very true.
I don't like people and I don't have to be disrespectful. I just will not ask you to come to my cookout or to come to my birthday, but I can still be like respectful. And if other people can do that, whatever, deuces. This is not like I'm not in primary school. I don't have to fight you to prove to you I can beat you up. I can just even look at you and be like, you know what, you can have this. I can see you having a bad day. Probably your life really sucks. That's why you have to attack me. So I'm going to give you that and I'm going to just go away. Because if you keep, like, if I would react every time someone attacks me, I would be mad all day and every day. Like, I don't like that. I don't like being mad.
That's one reason I felt that girl who they had to put a restraining order on, it was because she does not, her transition was very hard for her. She had very broad shoulders. She got a very bad breast job that she shouldn't have done, which looks like it probably hurts. No, I'm being completely honest. So it's like she's not handling the business the way she should handle the business. I know Pierre said stop standing on business. That was the business. that was the business.
Got that apartment BBL. How they be going to the apartment?
Girl, it was ridiculous.
And the veneers.
And the worst part about doing that lawsuit, she has 15 Facebooks. How do you find her? You know?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like she's so insecure. She has to make all these different names, Facebook. And I'm always going to be understanding when it comes to trans women. I watch all kinds of documentaries. I know all about Marsha. We need to talk about Marsha during Gay Pride. She actually threw a brick. Sylvia Rivera threw a brick during Stonewall. And because of that and how hard it is to be a woman, and let alone a woman of color, and let alone a woman of color that is trans, you're naturally going to go through some type of trauma and not feel accepted, which I get that from Kinsey.
Now, what do you guys think and I personally start off with the trans men and trans women. How do you feel about, of course, the argument in the car specifically? I want to get into that, not just about them physically fighting. The fact that Joyce felt a way that Holly potentially outed her to other people. How do you feel about that, Jay? Like, let's say if someone were to do that to you, how do you feel about that whole situation and how it was dealt with?
It's not their business. BJ, where you at?
I think he's on now again. Jay, you still there?
Oh yeah, I'm here. My bad. I'm here today, y'all.
I like your dreads.
They know my
You
little
smoke
time.
some good stuff. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
stop.
no. But I feel that basically you shouldn't care. Like, it's just living in your truth. If you're a happily trans person, then it shouldn't matter if somebody else. I feel like you should want them to out, because the conversation may be hard for you to have. You should want, because 9 times out of 10 they probably gonna mess with you anyways. So I feel like you should just tell the truth, or let the people tell the truth. It shouldn't really affect you that much. Like,
Can I talk about the ancestors?
Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of understand the anger and the frustration, because from like 1980s, like 1981 to like 1996, the AIDS pandemic was awful and took out pretty much everybody that should have been here.
Mm-hmm.
That can create anger for a community, period.
Yeah.
Especially the way they didn't want to celebrate, bring it up. They just treated them like that. That's one reason why Freddie Mercury and Queen never got a Grammy. They never got a Grammy because of him being queer and him being diagnosed with HIV. There's a lot of pain in the queer community, because I don't think you understand how many funerals RuPaul had to go to. How many funerals it was. Have you watched the show Pose? That gives a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you guys get it. Did you see how many times Pray Tell had to go to funerals? He had to drink his way through them. He was burying babies.
If you seen that, it was a season of American Horror Story. They focused on the AIDS pandemic and in New York. And yeah,
go ahead, Jay.
It touches
what
very
I
hard
feel
on
like
it.
What I feel like it is that when you trying to mess with somebody, like have relations with somebody, like then it's like you have to tell them, because like that's when it goes to people trying to murder trans people and all that, because you trick them or something of that sort. Like, if I was to mess with a woman and she think I'm a man, but then it comes to we finna have relations and I don't have the bottom piece, it's like I didn't disclose this information. I don't know how she gonna react. She could do anything to me. But it's like, if I just was honest about that, I don't know, if 9 times out of 10 she may still mess with me. It may not matter to her. So it's like, I feel like it just goes within you. If you want to have relations with that person, then yes, you have to disclose that information. But if it's just a person walking, now you shouldn't be like, damn, that's the tranny. Then it's like, what the fuck? No, my bad. But it's like, what y'all?
No,
what you
you
want?
can curse. I say
oh, my bad. But it's like, what type of time you want? What type of shit you want? Just saying that type of shit. Like, you want some other shit. Like, then it's like that. But if I'm trying to mess with them, then I feel like you have to disclose that information.
So you don't feel like it should be said out and about, but if you're pursuing somebody, I get it. I agree as well.
I agree. As a heterosexual woman,
I think
that's
on the
misdirection.
tiptoe. I think it's a tiptoe on that, letting people know, and when you do it, because like the caller just said, like you can get hurt like that also. Where if Holly did tell those dudes that, they could have hurt Joyce in the process, because some people can be malicious and be like, oh, that's a tranny,
and it sounds like
and
Holly
will
from
hurt
the hood.
them. Yeah, and then also, I don't know, it's like a gift and a curse with that, like with telling people that. So I can understand why she kind of went off, but I think she should have got her facts straight more so with that. And
in a calm way. Like, don't tell my business, girl.
Right.
Like
that. I feel like Holly did it. I really feel like Stoney did it, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
The alcohol played a part into why they weren't coherent into having that conversation. Because I feel like the conversation would have been regular if alcohol wasn't.
I feel like that's manners. Manners. Like, you wanted to say that.
Can I say something?
For what? What do you get from saying that?
All right, go ahead, Blue.
So I
I'm
was
gender.
gonna say, like as far as people like staying when they in a relationship with someone, I guess I have a question like at what point, and then also like I've been in relationships with people and like, oh yeah, like I was born a female. I'm like, okay, like good person, like it's the person. I'm so it's the person. It is who you are, what you have, your qualities. Like those are the matter to me. So like the idea of falling for a person and then being the deterrent, I don't know. That's just a little bit outside the box. I feel like if I'm in a relationship with that person and then eventually they don't say anything, then I'm going to be like, dang, like you don't trust me? Like, but I do think it's a matter of trust, opening up about something that's personal. Because like for me, when I'm in relationships, like I tell people like, hey, like I'm autistic. Like you need to know this because I don't want to think I'm a jerk or I'm not paying attention to you. But I just like in crowds, I don't do crowds. So I just let people know certain things. So when they're around me that they understand. As far as being trans, and I could be wrong because I'm on the other side of this, it seems like that's much more of an intimate detail to disclose. You know what I'm saying?
It's about being comfortable with yourself.
I think it's just
Right.
it is very much so weaponized, and I think the worst case of it was Barbie and E.T. because Barbie and E.T. were friends, and then whenever they'd meet men, she'd be like, "You know, she trans, right?"
But if you don't know Barbie and man, they crazy.
That's
That's
ridiculous to even do.
But that's just when I feel like
no
they want to, yeah, no shade, no tears. They would
Yeah.
say
They trying to get their little foot in the door.
That's just
they
when
act like it. Oh, I'm like, okay, sure,
Yeah, it's really jealousy because I do feel that there's jealousy for with cis when it comes to trans women to cis women, and when cis women when it comes to trans women. It's both ways. I feel
that's kind of what I wanted to say too. It happens. It's always something that's pertaining to it's disrespectful. Going back to the question, for somebody to out you per se, you know, it's let me do that on my. But it's something that to like if they feel like too much. Oh, okay.
Oh, it's going out again. Your song's going out again. But I think you were saying it's very disrespectful for somebody to out you without, like, just out in public with no reasoning.
Right, but it's normally pertaining to a guy. I don't know the context of what had happened in the bus, but that's what girls do to, like, they feel like you get into much attention, they will purposely say that, like, oh, okay, oh, well, you know that, or, you know, shit like that. And things like that. That's just what girls do.
Just also, here's a good example. Remember how Savannah Garcia, she loves bragging about being post-op, and that actually hurts a lot of other trans women that are not doing that. You could die from that. I'm gonna be honest. You could bleed out to death. It's very dangerous. So, and you have to heal for like 6 months, right?
It ain't worth
to a year.
Even Savannah's argument with
it ain't worth for what? I just think we want to find out what to blend in and have a pussy that don't work.
I just don't like that she went into the baddie's house talking about my pussy. Look at it, everybody look at it. That makes me different from other trans women. I'm like, no, you're separating yourself from your own group, bro.
Did she say that, or did Cash say that she bought that body to look like Shamara or something like that?
I feel like even when they were going back and forth, they whole argument was like the negative side of trans women and how they think and how they talk to cisgendered women, and even that argument was like that kind of rubbed me the wrong way about Savannah, because it was like, girl, why are you calling that girl a man? You know that you know black women have to deal with being called men.
Savannah called Cash a man.
Right. She said you look more like a man than I do.
Yeah, she said she needs That's the worst part. She said she need a BBL, some new titties. Why?
Yeah, like,
Come on now. Why
That's
gotta
very
be all that?
disrespectful.
Y'all don't say that was
No
just reading
woman
her.
needs a BBL and no woman needs titties. If you're a woman, you're a woman. That's why, me personally, I don't like it when people tell me like, yeah, I see you as a woman. Why can't you just see me as who I am? I am a trans woman. So I would care if I would be with girls and we would talk to guys. I would actually be mad at my friends if they didn't tell those guys I was trans up front. Like I had situations that me and my girlfriends, like just women, we went out and they were dating some guys and those guys brought friends over, but they never told them that I was trans. And I was like, girl, you can't do that. She was like, yeah, but I see you as a woman. I was like, yeah, but I'm not. If they feel between my legs, they're not gonna feel no punana. It's gonna be banana. So
Do you think that you would still
don't do
feel
that.
that way? Do you think that you would still feel that way if you weren't of such womanly build? Like if you were more built like masculinely and you couldn't pass?
Right.
Do you feel like you would still feel like that?
I got a perfect example if you want one.
Go ahead.
Way. Because no one taught her how to tuck before she went to that reunion. That's crazy. You gotta be, if you somebody's friend, hey girl, yo, tuck a little, hey, let's go to the bathroom.
It's the South Central baddies, so none of them really friends like that.
They do not
They
care.
don't care
If
about
I
one
was in
another.
the room, I would have said, like, girl, let's go to the bathroom. Like I'm a woman, but I could still help you tuck, girl. Like
you gonna pull
what
it
do you
out?
have to say towards that, Leah, about the whole about what he just asked? Like, what do you think about that? Like,
what did he ask again?
Do you basically feel like if you weren't of such womanly build, like if you were more masculinely built and couldn't pass as a woman, you would still feel that way?
I hope so. I don't think it's because I think it's just my mindset. When I went into transition, just like I said, it's 14 years ago, it wasn't this positive rainbow thing that it's now. So I really had to fight for it. And I just made the decision just to love myself instead of hating myself, what I did for the first 20 years.
Yeah.
And I hope that even, because not to be like mean, but women also come in different shapes and sizes. So why can't trans women be the same? Like even if you're built a little bit masculine, don't mean no man will want you. Like I think it's your energy. I think it's the way you carry yourself. And a lot of men just like women that are very respectful, that are very outgoing, that when they talk to them, they don't give them a stink face like, I know I'm cute, why you talk to me? Like they don't like women, or that's what they say. I don't know everything, but
Child, because that's a
I
lie.
mean, if you're a trans woman and you're
They
already
don't care.
masculine, I think you should tap more into your like feminine side, just on the inside, and let that shine out. Because I think people will be attracted to your energy and your qualities and your inside more than your outside. Because I think just because I'm very feminine, sometimes it works against me. That men will think that I would just be in for a booty call, and then they get to know me and them like, oh, she's a real chill girl. And I think if you look a little bit masculine, people will try to talk to you for you and not because you have ass and titties. So
true.
Okay.
Question.
Oh, sorry, I'm talking too much, but I do want to say this about trans women that I don't think anyone talks about. I think that when you guys transition, you guys missed out on being a little girl. You guys missed out on the teenager stage. So once you transition, you get straight to that because you didn't do it yet. So that's what I think Kenzie's doing. Like when she was getting into Tasha K's space, that's what that was. She shouldn't have done that. She tried to grab the mic. That's way out of line. I'm surprised they let Kenzie stay on there so long, up on that stage.
Right. Cece, you were going to say something. And before you say something, I do agree with what you said, Lee. I feel like how you said like the inner work, I think Kenzie still has to do that. And that's why she acts the way that she does. I think the inner child in her isn't healed.
True.
So Cece, what do you have to say?
Well, yeah, like Jason, when somebody's first starting out, they're very hyper, point to prove. Like I'm so overly proud coming in with a statement. But as far as with Leah, I wanted to ask her, how do you when guys approach you in public, how do you respond to that?
Depends. When I go out, I usually just tell boys like, I don't have no pussy, so if you want pussy, you need to go somewhere else. Like, this is not the pussy place. This is the banana place. And they usually laugh at it because they're like, "Oh, you're so funny. You're so direct." And even if they don't like trans women, they tell me like, "I respect you because you're honest, upfront, and even if I don't want to date you, I respect you." So that's the way how I act. And when it's on the street, it depends. Like if someone just talks to me, I don't think automatically if a man talks to me, he wants to hit. He's hitting at me. So
You at the
I
club?
usually just talk
Scenario.
normally. And then when I feel like okay, he's trying to hit on me, I'm like, I'm not a girl, you know, like I'm a trans woman, so I don't have no punana, banana. So if you hate that or you can't deal with that, we can just be friends and just leave it at this conversation.
What's it to you, Cece? What about for in your life? What do you do if someone tries to approach you? Do you have the same response as Leah?
Approaches, like I go about it. I mean, because guys approach me a lot. I'm a cute little PY.
Period.
But when I'm out at the club and stuff, what I normally am the bougie girl. Like, I'm gonna deny.
Well, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. Say that again.
I said I will.
Oh man.
I said I will normally deny before. I normally say I'm not.
Oh, it's going out. It's going out, CC.
Oh.
Okay, go back out and go back in again. Also, type if you can. Stay backstage and just type what you were stating because it's going in and out. All right. So next, I want to basically move into something just a little bit deeper. So what I'm going to do is just the trans people of the chat. Hopefully, CC does get to come back. I want to just do a little bit of question. I sent it before, so just for the viewers watching, they do know some of the stuff I'm going to be asking them. So I'm not bombarding them or blindsiding them. Okay. How do you feel about like your treatment as trans people, like just in society? Jay first.
With me, kind of early in my transition. It's only been like a year and a half, really. So
when you sent me Instagram, I gagged. By the way, I said, "I was like, oh, you're fine."
Thank you. So basically, I'm well known where I'm from, so they do know me as being a female or whatever. So I'm accepted with it, but like as far as like my work and stuff, I have recently encountered a new job where there's employees that I previously worked with before my transition. So they still sometimes refer to me as she or they try to correct themselves, but I still go through that. I've recently had one manager call me baby girl, and that was kind of, I'm like, what you just called me? That was kind of like, what type of time you on? That was like one of them moments, like pause. So I'm like, I do still go through that, and like with my mom specifically, being that I'm 26 now, and being that I for 24 years was she or your daughter, it's kind of hard for her when people come up to her like him or he or sir, and then she be like, well, my daughter, and then I come up and they be like, well, who you talking about? So I still do go through stuff like that since it's early in my transition. But like as far as places like that I've just gone into and they just know me as him, like school, I just started school and I just went in straight as him, as who I am. I haven't really had no confusion or anybody really questioning it. So like that's really not a problem with me. And then another thing, as far as like females, like I have had one female like go on to because when I started transition, I didn't delete all my pictures. Like people do. I kept all that up. So I had one female go back all the way into my Facebook pictures and find out I was a female, but that didn't stop her from talking to me. So like I've been comfortable in my transition. Besides, when people get upset and stuff like that, they do try to say she or you was a girl or you soft as hell and stuff like that. But I don't really take it as nothing. Like I'm comfortable with who I am. I know who I'm trying to become. I already know. My mindset is here, so I'll be focused. I ain't really tripping on none of that.
All right, Leah.
Well, I'm very comfortable in my life. I've been trans for 14 years. Been in school the whole time, almost done with my Bachelor of Law. So I'm gonna be like not a lawyer, but like a law. I don't know how to say it, like a law assistant, like law officer, something like that. In like America. And I don't like maybe in the beginning of my transition, it was hard because it was also very new and people didn't really accept it. So I really had to find a way to accept myself. So it wouldn't really be that hard when people would tell me I'm a man because I know I'm a man. Like, I know my DNA will always be XY. So I'm not really bothered. Like, even if people throw it out in like a fight, I'm like, is that all you got? Because you know I'm successful, I'm beautiful, I got money, and I got body. So if that's all you can throw at me, like, I'm cool with that. And to like jump off of what he said about what that his mom sometimes finds it hard to like call him he and things like that. My mom was the same. It was like the first 2 or maybe 3 years in my transition. She really found it hard because you have to understand that when you're in transition, your family, your surrounding, everyone that loves you has to go into a transition too. And for some people, especially your parents, it's hard because it's like you're losing a child and getting a new child instead. But like all the dreams that you had about that child is like with my dad, he still calls me he and him and tells my brother like, yeah, talk to your big brother. And I'm like, who's the big brother? You know? Ooh. But I know that he loves me. And if I don't need him to call me a he or a her or whatever to show me that he loves me. I know that he loves me because he never left my side. He's always there when I need to talk to him. And if I correct him, he will try to do it. But sometimes it's just automatically because when we were born, I was his little boy. I was his baby boy. I was his first son. So for him, I think it's not like something that they do maliciously because it's more of like that's how they see you. And even if they see you, like even if he sees me like this, I'm still his son in his eyes. And all I want from him is love. And that's what he's given me. So I don't really care what he calls me. But that's my perspective on it. And my mom, she did change over time because my dad, like, he lives in England. So it's not like I see him every day or every week. So that's also a different. So I think your mom, she will get there. Just give her the time and space to also transition because she has to transition also in her mind that now you're her son. You look fine as hell. That part.
You do too.
And I think you will find your way. And I think one day your mom will be comfortable enough to say he and him and things like that. Like just give her the time and space.
And I got I got a question for you if I can. So basically, like when you were
Wait,
in
I
your
can't hear
beginning,
you good.
hold on.
I don't know what it is. Wait.
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So basically,
I think it's my phone.
I'm like, so basically in like the beginning.
Wait, I'm gonna try to come back.
Okay.
All right. Cece, what do you think about how treatment of just trans women in society. And also, before you answer, Cece said to the last question that I asked, if somebody were to approach her, she says she normally tells guys, I'm not your type when they approach me. She said, because you know how guys get when they're around their homeboys, I tend to worry about how they will look rather than myself, because I wouldn't want them to get aggressive with me for possibly being embarrassed. Go ahead, Cece. Hopefully your mic works.
Yeah, hopefully you do it.
It works.
Hey, Jay.
Jay. CC crushing y'all.
No, for me, honestly, I've had like a really smooth transition with for me myself. I'm Thea. I am a daughter. So my parents respect me. They call me by my name. I have nieces and nephews. They all call me Thea, Thea Samaya. So they, they know what's up. Um, I've had a more privileged transition than a lot of people. Like, didn't have to go through like, being kicked out or, things like that. Day to day, yeah, it's easy. It's simple. I never liked the stereotype of, oh, okay, it's so hard for trans girls to get jobs and stuff like that. To me, that's bullshit. I've always had jobs. Even pre-T, going into my transition, starting out, in the beginning stages of my transition. So to me, that excuse is bullshit. If you're just, not, if you're insecure, you're gonna let dysphoria take over you, and you won't get out there and socially transition, because that's what it is. More so, before you even get on HRT, you have to socially transition too. I don't know how people did it with theirs, but my doctor asked me when I started about 10 plus years ago, if I was socially transitioned. They didn't let me get on HRT before I talked to a counselor. So I was doing therapy and stuff. So I don't know other people's journeys, but mine was fairly smooth. I'm
And explain to the people that don't know what HRT is.
Hormone reassignment therapy. So
Okay.
that's gonna, normally for the T girls, you will be on a testosterone blocker and estrogen.
Okay. And then another thing I wanted to ask is basically, how do you feel that you guys are represented in the media? Do you guys think it's a fair representation? Starting off with you, Jay.
As far as like the Now That's TV media, or like
media in general, we're gonna talk about Now That's TV next. That was my next question.
Okay. In the media, I don't really know something. Like as far as like the murders and stuff, no, it's not talked about enough. I feel like that, and they don't really be caring about the trans murders in the community and stuff like that. But like as far as like the TS Madisons and stuff like that, I don't feel like they're too discriminated against in the community. I feel like it's pretty accepted, especially since Beyonce did what she did, knowing all the people she controlled the community. I feel like it was pretty accepted. I don't really feel like it's too. And then all the TVs and the stuff that's being taught and stuff, I don't really feel like it's too like discriminatory against, but like in some ways it is towards older people. I had a situation with an older guy that was basically saying that it was being taught in his son's schools, and his son is like 16, and he was basically saying like he didn't want it to be taught to his son. He didn't want. He was basically mad at that, and I was just basically like, if your son is not having feelings that he's gay now or anything like that, he's not going to be. It's not going to influence him to be gay. Like I feel like that, but it was like a back and forth battle we was having. Like if you was born gay, or could you be influenced to be gay, or could you have an experience to be gay? So like I do feel like the older generation still have a problem with accepting it now, but I just I don't really feel like it's too much bad as it used to be.
Okay. Leah, how about you?
Well, I feel like the media has been on a rampage with the LGBTQIA plus. I don't know what acronym it's nowadays, but I think the representation is not really realistic. I think they give people platforms that don't really use it for good, like David Mulvaney or I don't know what her name is, but or his name. I don't even know if she's
Hey,
really trans because the way that she acts. I'm saying she because I don't know. I don't want to
Amaya Scott.
disrespect her in that
With
way,
who?
but I think the way that she acts is very disrespectful to real women with her
Who?
a day in the life of a girl bullshit. I'm like,
Wait,
no
T-Pain.
who? I
trans
tuned
woman
out
is
for a
gonna
little
do
bit.
that.
I'm sorry. Who?
Lizzo.
oh, you talking about the Bud Light boy?
No, I'm talking about like the Mulvaney, David Mulvaney, Danny Mulvaney, something
Oh, okay.
Mulvaney,
Yes.
the one that won the award for Woman of the Year when he looks
Oh, okay.
when he hasn't even really transitioned. He hasn't taken down his Adam's apple. He hasn't really done things that I can say like, okay, you're really trans. I can see how he looks. He's not taking hormones at all. He's not
Who you talking
taking
about?
down
Bruce
his
Jenner?
beard. I had a beard from here
I'm
to
gonna show
here.
you.
I really had a full beard. I don't have shit now because I lased it away. Because you
Mm.
do that when you want to transition. I think the people that they put on these platforms are usually very stereotypical people. Just like with Deja Vu, it's like the little hood rats, the little people that you make fun of. It's like Jerry Springer all over again.
Who she's
And
referring to is Dylan Mulvaney. So she
oh
was
yeah,
named as NCAA Woman of the Year,
yeah, that's
and
so
she's
weird.
trans.
That's
And Leah feels as if she's not too deep in the into her transition to
Right,
be
like
called
Bruce
that.
Jenner.
Right. I don't even consider Bruce trans. That's just my opinion.
That's just insane.
Yeah, I think
Well,
Bruce is
I feel that maybe like I feel she is like a trans woman, but I don't think that just because you're a trans woman and you're white, let's be clear, they both white.
Right.
That's what I have a problem with too.
And one Woman of the Year.
Because like white trans women, they get represented in a different way than even trans women like me. Because I'm half white, half black, and Native American.
Mhm.
So I'm light skinned. I have light skin privilege. So as a light skinned trans woman, I get treated differently too. But then you also have like dark skinned trans women, and they don't get treated the same way. They don't get offered the same platforms when they speak. People still want to call them man and want to like they
Yeah,
want
I don't mean
to
to
see that energy.
interrupt you, but if y'all watch Jocelyn Cabaret, like Abby didn't get
Yes.
the same treatment as the trans women on that TV. When
Oh
they found
yes.
that Abby was
Oh
trans,
yes.
it was you feel everybody was it was all
They
cool with
treated her
everybody.
like gold.
Yeah, like she didn't get touched, nothing. They didn't bully her when she wanted to leave. It was all
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Yeah, but she was also white.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm touching on your point.
You're right.
Yeah, so it's like
Saying that it
even
was
with
a
Tasha
gift to
K,
have
like let's be real, if it was a white woman, people wouldn't act like they would have a problem with her saying the N-word, but they wouldn't have a problem with a white woman saying that she sees a trans woman as a man. Why can't dark skinned women have an opinion too? Why do they always have to be like the protectors of everybody? Like I feel as for women, you don't have to protect trans women until trans women protect y'all.
I like that.
Because until I don't see that, I see a lot of trans women trying to attack women. Like I feel even if a woman would attack me, I would know that she's not really attacking me. She's maybe having a problem with something, or maybe she's going through something. I wouldn't take it personally, and I would just leave her alone. I would not give her the same energy. And I mean, on the internet, why do trans women always go in on real women? I never see trans men doing that to men. They wouldn't dare. They wouldn't dare go into a restroom and be like, "Yeah, I'm that bitch. What you gonna stop me from peeing in here, bitch?" Like, they ain't
No,
doing that.
do though.
It's trans women that do that.
So not the trans men, but the dykes. They be
But
very.
can I touch on that?
Yeah.
So basically, when I was before my transition, I don't really much look any different. Pierre could tell y'all that he's seen my Instagram.
Yeah.
But so when I was going into the female bathrooms, that's when I was like discriminated against. People would come out and report me. I've been escorted out by security before and things of that sort because women just I don't know to say they don't mind their business or as such, but when I started going into the men's bathroom in my transition, men don't really care.
Yeah,
they don't care. They do what they do and they
true.
leave. As far as women coming down, they cackling, everybody talking at everybody trying to see who's the man in the bathroom or whatever the case may be. So that's just how I don't know how to. We'll get there though. I read the questions, Peter. I'm ahead of time.
Good. And then also, CC.
Yes, boo.
Yeah. I already asked. Okay. So next, how do you feel about the trans representation on STV? First of all, there's no trans man on Not STV, which they need to cast one. They've casted studs like Diane, but they haven't casted a trans man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
They need to cast him.
What you do Not STV?
They're gonna be picking on me. I ain't got time for them.
They ain't gonna pick on you. I will come with you. Nobody gonna touch you. Nobody gonna pick on you. Nobody.
For real.
Like, I don't do that. Like, pick on who.
We gonna audition. Next audition, say pop up.
You know, if someone picks on you, you know what the funny thing is? Like, the only thing you should say, and it's very disrespectful, but it's very funny too, just say like, "Why don't you have the energy for your dad?" Because I know he left you. That's why you heartbroken. But don't project that on me, honey. I got a daddy. Like,
yeah.
How do you feel about the trans representation, Cece? Do you feel like you're represented correctly?
Oh, Now That's TV?
Yes.
No, throw it away.
Throw it away.
Specifically, who do you guys think that's like kind of tarnishing the trans image when it comes to specific cast members?
Sydney.
It all started with Sydney.
Look, there's two types of trans women. Well, there's a couple, but somebody that has transitioned through the LGBT community would not resonate with a female that has transitioned in real life and like without the LGBT backing her. She's like more of a gay trans girl. Like gays behind her. Like that's her home base.
All right.
That's what she gives. Doesn't she give gay boy? She gives gay boy to me.
Who? Sydney?
Sydney.
Sydney gives me cunty. She could be cunty if she just get her act together.
I don't think Sydney gives me gay boy. I just feel like Sydney is like, I call her the trans clown. Like, like I feel like this is the clown of the community. Like she comes around and puts on a show.
You know what it is? Like, I think with Sydney, I think that she has trauma that she didn't really recover from. And she's really someone who projects a lot of things to other people. And she also puts herself into situations where she can get hurt so she can play the victim. And I like Sydney as a person, but I don't like what she did to Chingy. I don't like what she does. Like some of the things that she does, I don't like it. I think if you're a trans woman and you're exposing men because they sleep with you, the only thing you're saying is, I'm exposing you because you slept with me and you're a dummy for that. Like, why would you do that? Like, I wouldn't expose anyone for sleeping with me because you should be lucky to, honey.
But see, that's what boys do. What are you exposing exactly? You know what I mean? Like,
that when you expose men for sleeping with you as a trans woman, you're actually saying like, because they always say like, yeah, you're gay, but why they gay? Because they slept with you. So
And you're
you're
supposed to be
saying
a
that
female.
you
You're
gay
supposed to be
too.
a woman.
Right.
You're
Yeah,
supposed to be a
so
woman.
it's very confusing. It's like they want to pick and choose when they want to be a woman, when they want to be a man, because they want to be a woman when they want to beat a girl's ass, but they want to be a man when they expose another man for sleeping with them or for a man approaching them. They'd be like, "Yeah, you gay because you knew I was trans. How is he gay?"
Mm.
You see?
You feel it's hypocritical.
Yeah, it's very hypocritical because in every situation that they put themselves in, they play the victim. If you say you're gay because you slept with me and I'm exposing you, you're playing the victim because you're like, yeah, you wouldn't accept me. Like men are upfront. If a man just want to bust in you, why does he have to claim you? You're nothing. You're just a fuckhole. You wanted that. He wanted that. So why do you have to expose him for fucking you when you both wanted it? It's not like you're in a relationship. And even then, you should respect someone else's boundaries. If someone doesn't want to be out, or not even out, but just want their private life to be private, you can respect that because some people don't like to do all that internet stuff and take pictures and have everyone know that. Like, why? If you're just in a relationship and you're happy with that person, just be happy. Things will go as they will.
So what also I wanted to piggyback on what you were saying, the whole Kenzie situation. So beginning of the season, Kenzie talked about how she apparently did something to Gucci. So do you guys think that she shouldn't have said it out loud and been like, hey, you know, I sucked that D, suck that D? Like, what do you guys think about that?
I don't know.
I think that.
Let the man speak.
Go ahead,
I think that she should. It was kind of like on TV, like when not like now that's TV kind of showed Gucci's dick on there. Like I kind of seen him pull it out, and I kind of seen him let Kenzie touch it. We didn't never see her suck his dick, but we did see him let this. He put it on display.
Yeah.
So it's like in that instant, like I feel like Kenzie shouldn't have went around saying that she sucked his dick. If she did, maybe he went in behind doors like, okay, I want to have this experience with you. She should have just let it be that if Gucci was somebody she even wanted to mess with, you should have just been lucky that somebody you want to mess with is going to doing this stuff with you. So you should just keep it behind closed doors and let that be. But as far as him showing his piece on now that's TV, we all did see that. As far as Kenzie be saying it was on TV, that part was on TV.
Is it big?
Oh yeah,
Gucci decent.
I see that not in person on Twitter, but yeah.
Well, all them on Twitter.
You see that on Twitter too.
Yeah, send me that one later.
Okay, I wanted to go into questioning about just when it comes to physical fighting. Have you guys ever been in a situation where you had to fight a gender that you feel like you shouldn't be fighting, or you've been sort of challenged in some way to where you've having to physically fight a gender that you don't think is right? Like what did you do in that situation, if so? And if you haven't been in that situation, what do you think about that? Like basically, let's say a trans person fighting a biological woman, vice versa.
Well, Pierre, you know my situation, and it's always right. You seen the video of them big, those were some BIGs. Those were big girls.
Right. So CC, I follow, and she was involved in a fight with biological women. So let us know what happened.
And there were 3 big girls. You know, there was a disagreement. This girl threw a bottle at me. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, she proceeded to approach me, and I had to handle that. And these are big girls. I'm talking about 300-pounders. I am 5'10", 150. I'm a petite bitch. So one started, and then another one started, and then it was a chain reaction. Now, did I lose? No. But they did handle me because they're big. They're big girls.
They jumped you?
So
yeah.
You got jumped.
Yeah.
I've been following Cece because she's been an entertainer for a long time. So I've been following her. That's how I seen it on the story. That's how I kind of know this background. What do you think about?
I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
It's okay.
No, it's not okay. You shouldn't get jumped by nobody. It doesn't matter if you're trans or whatever. It's not cool. Like, I think I have like tall privilege too because I am a big bitch. So I think people think twice before jumping me because even if 3 people would jump me, I think I would still beat their ass. I would get hit, but I would still beat their asses because I got these hands and these feet. But I don't like to fight anyway. So if someone would approach me in that way, I would just leave. I would just be like, deuces, like, have a good day. Like, I almost never have like fights, to be honest, just because I'm a very bubbly person. I'm very nice, and especially to females, because I think every woman is just beautiful in her own way. And I let them know that, especially if I have liquor. So if a girl would approach me like that, I would be like, "But girl, you're so pretty. Why are you so mad?" And they would be like, "Oh, why you giving me compliment?" Like people can't
It's like
handle
it
that. When
shocks
people are
them.
mad at you, give them a compliment. Just be like, "Girl, you mad, but you look fire. Like, why you mad? You look so good." She'll be like, "This fucking bitch."
9 times out of 10, pretty girls don't fight other pretty girls. It's always a uglier one.
Have you ever had any issue with that as pertains to physically fighting someone, Jay?
As far as probably like in like relations, like
Domestic.
growing up, I really didn't really get into a females. I always been cool with everybody. I really grew up fighting boys. Like I was athletic, so I had a masculine build. I always was a tomboy. I was rough. So yeah, I grew up
CC
fighting.
over there moaning, talking about.
So I grew up
CC,
fighting
don't
with
take
the
my
boys
man.
though. But yeah, as far as the girls, like I don't really, like I really walk away from girls. Girls don't really get me to that point. And I feel, but as far as like men hitting women that are in relations or whatever, I feel like a man is always gonna be stronger than a woman. So if a woman is hitting you, you can restrain them, pin them, like you can hold them. You feel me? You can do you can overpower a girl. So you don't have to physically put your hands on them to where you leaving marks on their face, marks and bruises, or you beating a girl down. Like I don't never feel like that's right. But some girls do be coming at dudes wrong. So, but I don't never feel like you should put your hands on them. Like restrain them if you gotta choke them at the most or something. But putting your hands on, I don't really feel like you should do that. I don't even do that myself. Like, so I don't really feel like you should do that.
But to piggyback on what you just said, that a man should not hit a woman, then why should trans women hit women? Because a lot of trans women, even if we take hormones, don't mean we now hit like this. No, we still giving that fist. So I feel like if a man should not hit a woman, a trans woman should not hit a woman too, because you know what you can do.
I just feel like it's just how it looks. So like Cologne squatting up with Gucci.
Right.
It's gonna be like, okay, these two niggas fighting.
Right. Because
like,
Cologne doesn't identify as trans.
Yeah,
He's said this before.
Yes.
Right.
But like as far as Sydney Star, like when Duke hit Joyce, Brent, you just and when Gucci hit Joyce, that was like, y'all are a whole macho men. Y'all go as these powerful big macho men. Why is you chasing a trans woman around trying to put your hands on her to hit them? Like that was like kind of off and crazy to me. Like I ain't feel like that was cool. But like I don't feel like no other trans should have came. Like Kenzie shouldn't have came out the woodworks and tried to fight Holly or Diamond or any of them for anything they did. But in like this, Sydney shouldn't have, when Sydney was pulling on Diamond's hair, Diamond wasn't sitting there antagonizing. Sydney came out, pulled on Diamond's hair or muffed her in the face. And then Diamond ended up pulling on her hair. It's like nobody was talking about that because they looked at it as, they didn't really look at it as anything because it wasn't really nothing in everybody's eyes. Because it's like, okay, she antagonized you, you did it back, it was what it was. But as far as like Gucci now physically hitting on Johnson and people like that, I don't feel like that it just don't look right. It just ain't right. Like it don't look right.
Now many will like say, like, question your point as the term, as in with Jocelyn, like the way that she was, people would say, let's say, antagonizing Duke. Do you think that gives Duke the right to do what he did?
No. He still shouldn't have put his hands on. She could say whatever she wants. Why is you chasing her around the room, putting your hands on her? Like that's just that was just a lot. It wasn't needed.
All right, Cece, how do you feel about like what happened in the house in regards to Joyce? You know, Duke hitting Joyce and then also Gucci hitting Joyce. What do you think about that whole situation?
Oh my God. I mean, I think it sucks like getting hit by like a man. I mean, I was in my own little situations before domestic and otherwise. So no, yeah, definitely the force of a man is I wouldn't want that for any of my sisters.
Right. Now, of course, Cece, you said you fought a biological woman before. Have you fought a biological? You said, Leah, you haven't fought a biological woman before.
Well, I did when I was younger, but it wasn't really a fight.
I know that's
Leah can got their hands.
Like, to be honest, like, I don't see that as a fight. Like, I fought dudes before and I didn't see it as a fight because I was just mollywopping that ass.
If you could fight, you could fight. It don't matter who you fighting, man or man.
No, but I think when I was younger, I didn't really care who it was, man, female. And it was also because my mom used to tell me, like, if you're not dating the girl and she hits you, hit her back because nobody can hit my baby. But when I got older, I was like, even if a woman hits me, I never got hit by a woman. No, I got hit by a woman once that she really gave me a good one. Like, she just walked up to me. We were friends before. I stole her phone and money from her because she was talking behind my back. It was way like 12 years ago or something. And she just walked up to me and just gave me like boop, like to my nose. And I was like, oh my God, I thought my nose was bleeding. And that I really went ham on her because I thought it was bleeding. But she really gave me a good one. But nowadays, and even that I was 17, so that's like 17 years ago to be factual. And nowadays, I don't really feel like I have to fight women because even that hit, it was more of the shock that I thought I was bleeding. It wasn't like I didn't got knocked out. Like, a woman can't knock me out. Like, my daddy can't even knock me out, and he's a big nigga, like a real, like, he can really beat you up, and he can even like knock me out. So a woman can do that. So even if a woman would hit me, I would just restrain myself and just get out of the situation because I know what I can do to her, and I know if the police comes, even though my ID says female, if they go back and they see I was born a male, I'm gonna be charged because they know what I did to her is not just self-defense, you know?
Okay, I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think is like what do you think women, and let's put men in there in general, what do you think women in this day and age need to understand about the trans community? If you could say something to biological women and men about what they should understand about the trans community.
I think it's an ever-growing thing, with the trans community. Nothing is black and white. Um, I mean, just conversations like this right now, educating people, letting them know.
Right. Because not many people do this. I even looked it up. I'm like, let me see. I didn't see not one panel, no nothing on YouTube. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like, so yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely important. These kind of conversations are definitely important to, kind of humanize everybody, let them, like, educate them because, it doesn't get talked about a lot. All they see is, like I said, the clowns, whatever's being perpetuated on TV. And, like, there's lots of different kinds of girls. So.
What about Yulia and also Jay?
You can go first.
I really feel like that it's just a respect thing. It just goes down to respect. Let people be who they want to be. What I eat don't make you shit. So it doesn't matter who people love, what people want to be. And then I feel like people should like understand things as far as like people committing suicide people commit suicide because they're not happy with themselves, or people are DL because they are afraid to come out. It's because they don't want to be made fun of because everybody is making fun of people that's either gay or whatever the case may be. So like I just feel like everybody should just make people feel comfortable. It should just let people be who they are. Even if you don't respect it, you don't have to be with somebody every day. You don't have to. They ain't asking you to mess with them. They just asking for respect, even if it's from an arm's length. If you got a kiki in private, don't bring it out to me. I just feel like people should just respect everybody, whoever they want to be. And one more thing, and I feel like, and if it's hard for you, because I've told my my family, like if you can't say she, I mean, if you can't say he and you can only refrain to that, try to say they or them. Just try to say that if you can't, if it just
is that hard.
Yeah, if it's that hard. So
okay. And Leah?
I think what I would say is don't believe the hype. Like, don't believe everything you see on the internet. A lot of people that get platforms on TikTok and things like that, they just get platforms because they're controversial and they don't represent the trans community as a whole. Because I know a lot of trans women that are not like trying to be like talking to kids about sexuality and things like that. I just think that's weird. I used to work with kids and I never told them I was trans. One time I had a situation that like I had a group of kids just came out of like how do you say that in English?
Like recess?
They were playing like football or something.
Yeah, recess.
And I was taking them back to class and they were like, Miss, you really look like a beautiful woman, but you sound like a boy. How can that be? And I was like, oh shit. Like, how can I explain this? And I was like, well, that's because I smoke. So if you smoke, if you're a girl and you smoke cigarettes, you get a manly voice. And if you're a boy and you smoke cigarettes, you get a girly voice. So all the kids were like, we're never going to smoke. And I was like, yeah, that's a good thing.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. I like that. I like that.
Because kids don't care. They don't care. They they asked me that question once. They never asked it again. And I worked there for 2 years. And I worked with kids from the age of like 4 or 5 to they were like 12, 13. So like the older kids, they knew exactly who and what I was, but they just liked me for me. And they didn't really care because I never made it a factor. I never made it a part of my character that I'm trans. It's just like I'm Nadilia. I'm just a person, and I'm also trans. That's just what it is. And I think the generation now, especially on TikTok and everything, they act like being trans is their whole identity. And I feel sorry for them because maybe now it's new, it's fun, it's hip. But when it goes back to just being what it really is, just going into transition so you can just live the life that you want and be respected for who you are. You don't have to scream that from the top of the mountains, you know? And that will phase away. That trend will phase away. And I think a lot of trans people that ride that wave will crash and fall because a lot of them are trans first and then a person. And I'm a person first and then I'm trans, if you get what I mean.
Okay. And how do you guys feel about the pronouns? Oh, see, I didn't ask you, Cece, did I?
What'd you say?
Did I ask you about I think I asked you the question. The question I just asked about, you know, what would you say to people in society nowadays about just transgender? Oh, yeah, I did.
You did ask me that.
Okay. What do you guys think about the pronouns they, them? Do you think it's confusing to people not in the LGBTQ community?
Leave that where is he, her, she. That's
so you don't believe in they, them?
I don't. It's confusing.
Yeah, it is confusing, but I feel like when I told my people that, like they was kind of like understanding of. They was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like if it's hard to just say, so it ain't confusing to everybody else. If it's hard for you, it ain't confusing for everybody. When you do slip up and say she or he, you won't be saying that. Just get they and them in your vocabulary, and then it won't be so much of a
Or
hard.
call them by their name.
Yeah, but sometimes you just be like, they said, or sometimes you just come out and be like, how to just flow off your tongue.
Right. How about you, Leah?
I think as far as it goes, like I don't like the whole thing that they're saying that they're also trans. Because how can you be non-binary and trans? That's like not a normal thing. And I don't like the fact that because they feel that way, everyone now has to ask people's pronouns. Like I feel offended with not right now because I knew you were gonna do that. But in real life, if people were asking me what's your pronouns, I would be like, bitch, don't you see? Like what the hell?
I wouldn't say they and them. I wouldn't say that in real life if somebody I would just say he, him, he. I would
say
just
that
say
as a substitute.
I was just saying as far like as my family because it's so hard for them. But I didn't even know. Maybe I need to be more because, like I said, I am in the beginning stages. So when you do say they and them, I didn't even know that it meant non-binary. I thought it was
means that you're not trans.
I thought it was just as far as the pronoun.
Right.
So maybe I need to do my research on that.
Right.
My bad.
Because like in Dutch, it's like it. Like the Dutch term for they, them is in English, it's it. So I'm like, I'm not a it. I'm a she.
Okay, that makes
or
sense.
a him. Like I don't care, but don't call me a it. Like I don't care. If people want to be called that, I will do that. I will try that. I will try my best to do that. I will respect their wishes. But don't come over here and say that you're trans too, because you're not. Because if you're non-binary, that means you're not a man or a woman. If you're transgender, it means you went from the one gender to the other one. You didn't went to the middle to stay there and be chilling like, okay, today I'm gonna be.
I don't know what I am.
Yeah. Well, they know what I think they know what they are, but you don't have to like put the trans label on it because people know that trans people have fought a long time to be accepted, but not with the whole non-binary people. They just make it really difficult, and because they put the label as trans on themselves without transitioning, without going to the doctor, they just wake up one day and be like, I'm a non-binary trans woman with blah blah. They have all these labels for themselves, and I'm like, please see a doctor before you say all of these things, because the internet is forever. And
yeah, I was introduced from they and them from when Uzi just wanted to go as they and them. That's when I first heard. And I'm like, okay, he just don't want to be called him or whatever the case may be.
So you're saying, Leah, that it sort of confuses people just in general about.
Well, it gives a bad name to like trans people in general, because I think trans people know exactly who they are, and it's already confusing for straight people to accept like trans people like me that are upfront about being a trans woman and knowing that I was born a male and I will always be a male. But if you then have like people like non-binaries that want to fight and want to act like, yeah, male's not real, female's not real, like you don't have to change everything just so people can accept you. And you're not that important. I'm sorry. You're just not. Like,
all right. And then one last thing I wanted to ask, what do you think is the biggest misconception about just trans people out there? Like what stereotypes are put out there that you think is a big misconceptions, media stuff that's put out that's big misconceptions that you want to clear up for, let's call it the straight community, that they need to get through their minds that this isn't true?
I always touch on the Dwayne Wade situation, where everybody's like he's or she was too young to do the transition. Where I feel like if I had the money and the resources to do it at a young age, because I already knew that I wasn't comfortable with who I was, then I would have done it. So I feel like it's not really influenced by the community. Like I said, so I was trying to tell somebody, like, if your son is 16 and in school now and they're teaching gay stuff on the TV or whatever they're doing, your son is just gonna be like, shit, daddy, I wasn't listening to that part of the conversation. It was what it was. And on to the next. He's not gonna be like influenced
He's gonna
to
be
it.
curious.
Or if you are curious and that does make you like it, it's because you were already having those feelings. You were already curious about it, and that just opened it up to you. That's how I feel. But I don't really feel like it's taught. Like, I don't feel like it's an influence behavior. I feel like if everybody had the money to transition at a young age, they would have done it. So that's just how I feel about it.
CC, what do you think is a big misconception out there just about trans people in general that needs to be put through people's head that it's not true?
I think I like the conception that people have of us nowadays, because people look at trans girls or regular girls nowadays and they're like, oh, she too pretty. She can't be real T. She must be trans. Compared to back when it's like, okay, no, that's a strong face looking as bitch, and it's like, okay, that's clearly trans. Trans women are some of the most gorgeous women today. I think I love that thought now. I think that we have that more so now rather than being compared to like, oh, she just manly looking girl. Now it's like, oh, she's too pretty. She can't be a real girl. I like that, and I'm cool with that. I'll live with that.
What do you think is a big misconception to you, Leah, that's out there in the media that you feel like is completely not true?
I think one of the misconceptions is that trans women don't tell men that they're trans. I think that's one of the misconceptions, and I think that's a misconception that's been perpetrated by straight men that don't want to claim trans women as their bed partners. And women believe that because they never seen them with a trans. So they're like, she could have lied. And because you have some trans women that have lied in the past, people just run with that narrative. And the other part is that people think that trans women are like, I don't want to say like, I would say like victims in some stories, because I'm just going off of TikTok and trans women I know from Holland. A lot of times people don't really reflect on situations in a grown up fashion. Like, if you have a situation where you have a problem with someone, you could also react it differently. It's not always the other person's fault. And I feel like a lot of trans women act the victim when sometimes they also helped escalate the problem, and like they throw rocks and then hide their hands. And I think other misconception is maybe that we're all in agreements with each other, because 9 out of 10, I don't agree with trans women at all. I respect them, but I don't have to agree with you to love you. And I think that's very important also for straight people. You can love me for me, but you don't have to love me just because I'm trans. Like,
just as a person.
Yeah. And I can respect you and love you for who you are. And you don't have to respect that I'm trans. Like, it doesn't have to be like that. And if it will be like that, just give people the opportunities, because some people walk around with a bad taste in their mouth because they had like some situation with people that are trans or gay, and they project it to other people. So if you also like give them the same energy they're giving you, it will just be like, yeah, you see, I knew that was that kind of tranny. I knew that was that type of gay, because you're giving them the energy that they think you would give them. So if someone acts mean to you, just be nice. Just be like, oh, but you look amazing. Have a great day. People don't know how to act to that or react.
Okay. Somebody backstage. Oh, go ahead, Cece.
I love my bio girls. I wanted to say that as well. I hate the divide that it kind of this is like happening and stuff. So, just take away like we're not in competition with you. We love you.
Do you think that what's being put out there, let's say just with not as TV, just the media in general, do you think in real life that it's that much of a separation? Because, do you think like it in real life it's actually true what's being shown out there that it's this huge divide and separation?
In my day to day, no. But I mean, there's small instances that happen, from time to time that, that is kind of what it is. But no, I don't, I would hope not.
And Leah?
Me personally, not, because I don't really walk around with an attitude like I'm the prettiest bitch, because pretty bitches don't have to tell you they pretty. You know that. So I don't like, I'm more of a person, I like to uplift other people. So I don't really get that from females because I'm not really coming at them as I'm better than you. Even when they tell me like I'm prettier than most women, I usually get mad because I'm like, every woman is beautiful in their own way. Like, stop saying like trans women are beautiful. Where you more.
So that it puts them in direct competition with bio women.
Yeah, it makes it a competition, because why can't I just be pretty being me? Why do you have to make me feel like I'm pretty because other people aren't that pretty? Like, what the hell is that kind of compliment? That's like backhanded.
Now, someone backstage asks, Naya says, what age do you think is appropriate to let a child do the full transition with hormones and stuff? She says she worked with teens that are in the middle area, but it seems a few change what they want to be every other month. It's like an all boys / girl school. Regardless, we still call them by what they want to go by.
I feel like when you finna be a freshman in high school, but you need to take you need to take like a evaluation.
Like a therapy.
Yeah, like you need to go to therapy first. You need to be cleared. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I feel the appropriate age to transition, I think it's 18. And the reason why I say that is because every teenager hates their body. And I think if you give teenagers the option to transition or change their body, I would have done that in a heartbeat. And I wouldn't have known if I was really trans because I am, or because I'm a teenager and every teenager hates their body. So every teenager would jump at the opportunity to change their appearance or change themselves. So I think it's a very slippery slope. And I think if you're really trans, you're going to be trans regardless. Even if you start at 6, if you start at 10, if you start at 16, 20, whatever, you're going to be trans regardless. So I don't feel like you have, like, waiting is such a horrible thing, because if you wait, I wish I waited like a year so I could like really get my makeup game going, because sometimes it's still a mess because I don't practice a lot with it. But things like that, or your clothes and your shoes, there are a lot of things that come with it. It's not just something that you can do. And it's very hard to switch back too, because I know people that have switched back and the trans community doesn't really accept them. Even though they were trans, now they're not trans. And now they're like being hated when some of them still have very feminine or male features, like their voice. Some girls that transition, they still have a very manly voice, but they transition back being a girl, but their voice is still the same. And yeah, I don't really like that. The treatment.
Right. There's an argument. Let's say if somebody were to say, don't you think it would be better for them to start younger? Because somebody might believe if they started younger, it would make it easier when they're grown because they physically will look like what they think that they are. What do you say to somebody who thinks that?
No. That's your experience. You don't
Why
know.
not?
It's a lifestyle, not a life choice. You have to live through it to know who you are, and you miss out on things that you have to just go through it. Be put on medication and things fucking up your natural hormone development.
All right. And then Leah?
I think that was my phone. Sorry. What was the question?
Like, what would you say to somebody who would argue your point and say, but it's better for them to start younger so they can look more like what they feel like they are?
I would say that they're very hypocritical and very thinking like a Hollywood white man, because you're only thinking about the physical and the appearance when you also have to think about the mental state. Like I was 20, 21 when I, no, 20 when I transitioned, 22 when I got on hormones. I haven't lost out. I feel like maybe my height, but I don't feel like I lost out of being feminine presenting. So I don't think it has anything to do with age. I think it has very much to do with, can you handle it mentally? Because you can look like a very handsome man like Jay, or you can look very feminine like me, but you can still have insecurities. You can still have things that are not feeling right in your spirit. And I think the way I felt sometimes as a grown person, I could not handle that when I was 14 or 15. I think I would have really killed myself, like for real. So the whole argument of like, put your kid on hormones or else they're going to kill themselves. They don't ever tell you that hormones make you more depressed. So if a kid is very depressed, don't put them on hormones. Are you crazy? You first need to find out, why are you depressed? How can you handle your depression? Like I work out every day, so I don't get depressed because of the hormones, because the levels that you get, they fuck up with your whole mental state. So you first need to figure out, how does your child or how does your teenager or how does that kid or person handle their emotions? Are they really talkative? Would they say that they would feel wrong? Because I think if you would put a kid on hormones that already feels bad about themselves and doesn't like to talk, that's just a recipe for disaster.
Gotcha. Jay, what would you say to that?
I'm kind of back and forth. Like in that state, that's why I said the psyche valve and stuff like that. But like I have gay friends that just studs, and they're comfortable like that. They still know they're women. They just want to portray that they're boys, but they're comfortable as what they are, having the parts they have and all that. They don't want to transition. So I feel like it is in your mental. Like when I was young, I wasn't thinking to transition. I knew I wanted to be a boy, but I wasn't really like too educated on how the transition process went. So I feel like now that it's more like educated, like people know, and that's why I feel like then the psyche valves. But I do what you had said from maybe being 18, because through high school, that is like you probably would get bullied for that. That probably would make it worse. But like as far as like now, I feel like it's more educated. It's probably be easier now than it was back then when we were probably in high school and stuff like that.
Okay. I want to add cisgender women to the discussion, so I'm going to remove you guys down. Do you guys want to say any final thoughts? And if you can, stay to hear their opinion, because at the end I'm going to add everybody. And if any of you guys have questions to ask each other, you guys can, and then we could end it off, because I know some of you guys probably can't stay too long. So if you have anything you want to say, if you can't stay for their segment.
I'm here for it. I'll be backstage. Definitely want to hear from the girls, and yeah. And thank you guys, for sharing.
Yeah, definitely.
And thank you, and thank y'all backstage for listening.
Definitely. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for listening, for you to give us this opportunity to give us a voice. I want to thank you for that. And To the women, I love y'all. Thank y'all for birthing us. Thank you for being you. And I love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now I'm going to add. We have Cash. We have Blue. We have Breezy. We have Bia, Portia, and Naya. Okay. So, like I said before, I'm gonna be doing the questioning. Please make sure to let each other speak. First, I want to start off with how do you guys feel that trans people in general and their place in society affects your rights in any way? First, starting off with Cash.
No, sir.
I can't hear you, Cash.
Oh, you can't hear me? You can hear me?
Mm-hmm. You sound like you're in the tunnel.
You hear me? Can you hear me?
Go out and come back in. I heard you sounded perfect before.
I got you. Hold on.
Okay. Blue.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I just
Do you feel that trans
What was the question?
Do you feel like trans people in general affect your rights in any way?
No. I mean, if anything, like they fight alongside with us with a lot of rights. You know, as Black women, we're always considered as being like the lowest of the low as far as rights. You know, as far as like how we're seen. So I do feel like our trans people are there with us. So I definitely don't think that they hinge on anything. Now, one of the things that Cece said that really stood out to me was that if trans women are not fighting for Black women, why would Black women fight for trans women? You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a trans person and say you're white, right, and you're racist as hell, it's kind of like, I respect you, but how can I advocate for you when you are against me as a person?
Okay. Breezy.
Not at all. I just feel, I mean, the more the merrier. That's how I feel. So I don't take a stance of it's going to affect me or it's going to hurt me in any way, shape, or form. If I can have more people fighting for women's rights, then I'm 100% for it. So yeah.
Naya.
For me personally, I'm gonna say no because I've always just been that type of person where like, either I'm gonna support you or like I'm gonna support you if you support me. So, yeah, no.
Portia.
No. I've always supported, the community and was always taught to, love those that love me. And if we can get more women in there to help with these laws and fight with us, then I'm here. I'm all for it.
Bia.
Absolutely not. I think that one of the important things to remember is that trans women are not a threat to cisgender womanhood at all. I know that a lot of cisgender women are under the belief that they are, especially when it comes to pregnancies and conceiving and childbirth. But I think that we have to remember that advancement is advancement. It doesn't matter who it's for. We're Black. So as far as the totem pole goes, we're at the bottom anyway. So if it takes a trans woman or trans women rather, if it takes them and that community advocating for being able to have children, for science to evolve so that people can have children, a win is a win, respectfully. Um, and someone being trans doesn't make me less of a woman. A trans person having a child doesn't make me less of a woman. I'm much more than my ovaries. So I don't think that they infringe on our rights at all. If anything, it's an extension. It's another fighting party because we all know men don't give a damn.
All right, Cash.
I definitely agree. I don't feel any type of way. Like I feel like it's in the same realm of people asking me, "Do you feel like Sexy Red represents you?" And I'm just like, "No," but I do know girls that's like Sexy Red. I'm like, I don't feel no type of way about it. I wish that we can all come to an understanding and not try to pit at each other, which white supremacy does. We need to stop acting like it doesn't and turn our attention to the actual enemy and not each other, because we aren't each other's enemy.
All right. So, does anybody have ever felt invalidated sharing the same space as a trans woman or trans man? Like, did you feel like undervalued being in the same space with them in any situation that you were ever in?
No, I haven't. I've been around trans women and I have never felt invalidated. I always felt protected, actually. Like, the community that I feel protected the most around outside of Black women are gay Black people. I've always felt protected. My brother is gay. I've been around his friends, and one of his best friends is a trans woman, and she has always respected me, has always made me feel like I was a part of whatever she got going on, rather I be at her house or she at my house. It was what it was. So it was like, I don't get that type of pressure, but it's because I feel like people hold their insecurities and they throw it at other people, and they hold that trauma or whatever the society is throwing on you, so you feel like I have to throw it at somebody else. And I feel like a lot of Black women do that. We feel, I get it. Like, I get it. We feel the boot of society. We feel them crashing down on us all the time. We feel us being called men. We feel us being called baby mamas. Like, I get that whole thing. So it's like, we can't turn around and put that same type of pain back on people that aren't doing nothing to us. They are just trying to survive and live just like we are. So it shouldn't be all that. That's my thing.
Bia.
Not myself personally, but I do understand how some people may feel invalidated in a space, especially because you know how there's like kind of like a stigma with like the white gays where they just feel like they've had to work 10 times harder to be accepted, when it's like that's not the case at all. You're already 100 steps ahead of us. Right. So you being gay isn't like the catalyst that's causing the hardship in your life. And I do, like, I'm on the internet. We all see things on the internet. So I do see how sometimes women who are insecure can feel invalidated with, especially for someone who's, let's say, not conventionally attractive, who's cisgender. And then you have the trans girl who's giving fish, who's giving face, who's giving body. And it's like, I look better than you and I wasn't even born with the hormones to naturally produce these parts. I do see how they may feel invalidated in those spaces or in those moments. But again, I think it's important to remember that our looks are just our looks, respectfully. Like, the baddest bitches get cheated on every day, B. Like, no matter what the cup size is, what the butt size is, what the waist size is, like, your exterior will never compare to the interior necessarily. So I definitely can see how that might happen, whether it's with malicious intent or not, because we live in a social media age where kids and young girls are growing up and they're seeing these faces and these filters and the filler, and you have high school girls, 18-year-old, getting a BBL because they just gotta be thick. They gotta look like what they see. So I can understand how someone who's cis or even non-binary might consider themselves less than or feel invalidated because you have the trans girl over there who looks like, Amaya Scott. But I think that a lot of times people are forgetting the process that it takes to get there too. It's not an overnight thing. Being trans isn't just necessarily waking up and saying, I want to be a woman today. That's not how it works at all. So I think it's important that we teach our children that and the kids understand that as well. But I do see how that may happen. Me personally, no, I'm comfy. But I don't want to indulge in
Cozy.
anything
Big
but that.
comfy.
I'm cozy. Okay.
All right, how do you feel, Portia?
What was the question again? I'm sorry, baby.
Have you ever felt invalidated sharing the same space as a trans woman or let's say a trans man? Like as a person, did you feel invalidated? Like why are they there? Or like did you ever feel insecure with them sharing the same space as you?
No, I always have a time with them. I always have a good time. I feel safe. I feel love. We party. It's normally with the straight people I feel more
Hello.
comfortable with than it would be with the community. I just told my aunt that the other day, like, because she's older, she doesn't understand. So just trying to educate her. I'm like, Auntie, when I go to the gay club, baby, I have me a time. I dance. When I walk up out there, my feet hurt. I ain't got to worry about no bullets getting shot at me. Fight.
Nope.
I get drunk. I have me a time.
Child, and
And
they
she was
feed
like, for
you.
real? I'm like, yes. We need to go one day, and I want you to see. And she was like, I never thought about it that way. And, they were born back in the 70s. They don't know. They don't know.
Right.
She just, they say offensive things and you try to educate them on those things. Like, just because a woman gay, that don't mean she's going to try to push up on you. Some
Right.
that's, mature and know those things. If they know they'll come holler at you. But if they know you don't go that way, they're not going to try to push up on you. So, just educated. But I have a time, baby. I always have me a time in the community.
All right, Naya.
No, because I'm just comfortable within myself. I'm just like a secure person. So like I feel like the more the merrier.
All right, Breezy.
So I'm gonna say no, but I'm gonna tell you why. I actually am a licensed professional counselor, and I used to be a part of the hormone therapy process.
Oh wow.
Or yeah. So it was so weird when you were talking about this. I was like, okay, I kind of know what you're all talking about. So I used to see the transition at its like most vulnerable stage. So I personally don't like, I don't know, I just don't really care that much to feel that I feel uncomfortable. Now, what I am gonna say is the younger generation, because I'm over 35. I can see the ones that are under 30, how maybe the younger, I guess we could put cisgender women, because that is the clinical term for cisgender women, to be uncomfortable because you have a lot of feisty, you know what I mean, younger, trans
I
women that
agree.
are kind of like, we are better than you. So it's something where it's kind of like the humility was gone, the fight is gone because the older generation already fought and they
Right.
already took the brunt of a lot of it. So the younger generation are being born and they kind of really, I mean, the ego, social media, they truly believe that they are better than some. And I'm not going to say all trans women feel this way. The
Right.
younger ones, they do feel that they are better than. So if I was a younger woman, I would kind of feel like, oh, what about me? So I don't know.
Ooh.
That's just how I feel.
You feel like it's more so an age thing. Leah's in the back, like, yes.
Yeah, it's an age thing. It is an age thing because, like I said, I'm over 35. Like,
Yeah.
I come from a community where I was. Let me tell you, there was a time where I was proud to be an ally. I mean, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was like, no, yes, no. I was fighting, and then now I'm kind of like, let me sit down and shut up because I don't want to get cursed out. So, and it's sad because I was proud at some point. So I don't know.
Do you think I want to get into what stopped your proudness? Do you think it was what you're now seeing on social media and just media, TV in general?
I think it is. I think it is social media because I'm not gonna lie, I do work from home now. Before I was like in the office. So now I do telepsych and telehealth and so I do see a lot of social media and I do kind of see like, I'm happy that everybody is proud of who they are, but it's kind of like just because you're pro trans doesn't mean you have to be anti cis. You know what I mean? So I think we're at that is the younger generation, and I think kind of it does dilute a little bit to the older generation. With some of the older people, we don't really care, but it's just like it kind of is like I feel sorry because it's like it's becoming pro-trans, anti-cis, and it shouldn't be that. It should be we're all in this together. We could all learn from each other because a lot of my clients, they were not women who transitioned into men. They were more men who transitioned into women, and they looked at me as somebody who they wanted to learn more as far as the femininity was concerned. And you couldn't really like they wanted that type of energy. They wanted that type of lifestyle. So it like that's who they were. So it was kind of more of a joint effort. And now I think we're losing the joint effort and it's becoming more tainted because of social media. So that's just my take on it.
Blue, what do you think of this?
Honestly, like I whenever we're talking about the subject, I think about the people that I know in real life, and particularly I'm a teacher. I teach middle school, taught middle school for 3 years, and you have to be a different kind of beast to teach middle school. You have to have a very.
You deserve all the praise now. These kids, I'm young, but it's like younger kids that I see now on social media in the videos. I'm like, oh my god, like I thought we was bad.
These kids are on a whole nother level, you know. And the woman that I worked with last year, like the level of empathy and understanding that she had. It really like touched me because she waited a while to tell me that she was transgender, but when she told me, it made so much sense because of some of the connections she had with our kids. Like we had one girl, she was thinking about transitioning, like and I think eventually she started taking hormones, but just what that meant for the kids to like see somebody living their life, a doctor in anthropology, like could be working $1 million job, but is working at a little school. You know what I'm saying? Like just to be there for people. I think that really like touched them. So I say that all that to say, like, these are real people in real life with all sorts of types of jobs that can be appreciated, perspectives that can be appreciated. Just like being a woman. Like being a woman, your perspective is just different. We see all the time we have to interact with men. So I just feel like the perspective of having a trans person in your life is just very unique. Same way as having a Black woman's perspective in your life is very unique. It's just very unique, under talked about, I guess that's the word, perspective. So I also want to say, Bia, I'm a really big fan. So it's cool to be on the chat with you.
No, listen, the girls love Bia. The girls love Bia. All right, so have you ever fought a trans woman before or have ever felt threatened by one? Starting off with Blue. Yeah, start off with Blue. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. No, I was going to say that when I was in middle school, I did get into an altercation with somebody who wasn't trans, but they just like dressed up like a girl. And it was kind of like this, why are you mocking me? Like, why are you making fun of me? And he was like making fun of the way that I talk, and he was white too. But when everything kind of like was all said and done, and admin got involved, I was the one that ended up getting in trouble because it was like, you need to be sensitive to who he is. And I was like, wait a minute, this guy was messing with me. He was picking on me. Like, this isn't fair. So as far as like that particular person, and we see all the time with like white gays or the white gay community, like using, but you're like, oh, I'm gay, but now I'm gonna be white, and it's like, oh, okay, wait a minute,
right?
That's not cool. So that's the extent. I've never duked it out with anybody that was identified as trans.
Breezy.
No, I've never gotten into a fight, but I rarely get into fights altogether. So, but I wouldn't. I mean, personally, I wouldn't know if I was fighting like a trans woman or not. I just don't really feel that we should just put our hands on anyone. So like, yeah, like, nah, I can say no.
All right, Cash. Cash, you still there? All right, Naya.
No, I've never been in a fight. I'm not a fighter, so yeah.
Bia.
To my knowledge, no. Niggas, yes.
You said to my knowledge.
because
But
you
you
really
fought
never
dudes,
know.
Dia.
You, I've gotten into some squabbles, but I've never had a fight with a trans woman that was outwardly trans. Like, you know, niggas be DL every day, so who really knows what I was fighting? But outwardly trans, no. And I would hope that I never do, respectfully.
Gotcha. So next one, we're gonna get a little deeper in this. Do you think that trans women should be able to use the same bathroom as biological women? Let's start off with Bia.
Yes, it's a bathroom. It's a stall. Let's be for real. Let's be like all the way for real. There's stalls in there. Like, I feel like I understand some of the women who are like, oh, but you never know. But let's be for real. Women are rapists too. So if it's a matter of safety, then every stall needs to be an individual thing. Because to say that someone shouldn't be able to use the same restroom as you because they transitioned is crazy. I was born a woman. I wear a size 12. Are you kidding me? I got La Ciennegas. Is that me?
Not La Ciennegas.
Like, these boats is boating. Like, and I'm above average height for a woman. So like, who's to say that some random woman at a concert is gonna be like, not with them feet, you can't be born a woman, you can't be in this restroom. Plus, respectfully, I don't know about anybody else in the chat, but I can't tell you how many times I've been drunk at a venue and the men's bathroom never has a line and the women's always does, and I walk right past those urinals and go into the stall because that's the point of it being a stall with a door. I don't care who's using the bathroom next to me. As long as you're not looking under or over that door or respectfully taking a wild, crazy shit, I don't care. Wash your hands when you're done and go. But that's just me, and that's just the way I feel about it. But for me personally, I don't care. It's not that big of a deal, honestly.
Okay. Breezy.
Okay, so this is what I have for a question for every single woman. Who actually sits on a public bathroom toilet seat? Everybody's urinating, standing up. So if somebody were to look at me, they would not see my cheeks on that toilet seat. So how would I know if anybody in the bathroom is standing up or not? So, I mean, if you sit on the toilet seat, that's on you and your butt and the diseases that are on there. So I'm just like, let's be real. I mean, you can't say that I'm going to urinate standing up and then I'm going to get on a trans woman who happens to not have the reconstructive surgery yet and they have to stand up. They're going to be talking about me too. So I don't care.
I definitely feel that same way. I feel like it's not important. And what y'all are worried about is men. Let's be honest. Y'all not worried about trans women. Y'all worried about men in dresses trying to rape children. And men don't have to be in dresses to rape children. They're your local priests. They're your uncles. They're your fathers. They're regular men. So just stop. You're just wanting to be invalidating and you want to be invasive in people's business. And why you in their business? You just want to know their parts. Stop worrying about people's parts. And that's what the straight community needs to understand. Stop worrying about the sex and the parts of the trans and gay community. That has nothing to do with you. Stop worrying about sex. Everything does not have to be about sex.
Portia?
What was the question? Because my internet keep going in and out. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Do you feel that trans women should be able to use the same bathroom as you?
Yeah, they come on up in there. I use their bathroom sometimes. Like the other people said. I go in there all the time. Sometimes the men's bathroom is much cleaner than the women's bathroom. The stall is. So, yeah, and then like the other caller, we squat. When most women, when you're in public, we're taught to squat anyway. So what difference does it make? I think everybody be worried about the wrong things instead of worried about stuff that's more important. We got way more stuff to conquer than who shares a bathroom with who.
Now, Blue.
I don't think it's a problem. I live in Atlanta, and they started like all gender restrooms probably like a couple of years ago. I remember. Yeah. And it's like first of all, it's not a big deal. Like, you're just trying to go to the bathroom, especially if you're at like a bar or like, a museum, and you just try to go to the bathroom. You're not quite thinking about, like, looking at somebody be like, oh, are you a woman? Can you be in here? Like, no, I'm trying to piss. You know what I'm saying? But like, I do think a little bit of the fear, like I said, is men using that as a tool to get in. But really, let's be realistic. If you saw a man walking in just because he thought he could, get over on that rule and being aggressive, that wouldn't happen, with other women around, or if you're out and there's a restroom attendant or people around, like, they're not just gonna like allow that to happen. But if you identify as a woman, you see yourself as a woman, you present as a female, you should go to the women's bathroom. You should not go to the men's bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like, come to the women's bathroom where there's nice perfumes and soft towels. Don't go to the men's restroom where they're gonna look at you crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think, if you present, or as a female, you should be able to use the restroom. Like, that's scary, thinking that they would walk into a men's restroom. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So when it comes to fighting, do you think a trans woman should be able to fight you if they're provoked, and also if they are not provoked? Starting off with Bia.
Absolutely not. And I don't think I should be able to fight a trans woman or a trans person, respectfully. Like, it comes down to a matter of, if, for one, especially the unprovoked topic, hands were not put on you, you don't need to put hands. That's what we're taught from the moment that we're born, is that we should be able to use our words in a disagreement. And if it comes down to us not being able to use our words, then we need to separate. I think that it is a tricky topic when it comes to being provoked, but I think that provoking needs to be physical. If someone hits you and your reaction is unfortunately that you just swung back, I can let that slide. Do I think that they should be fighting each other? No. But that's, and it's hard to kind of explain it, but it's the same way that I feel with women fighting men or slapping their boyfriends, or just, oh, he disrespected me, so I decided to put my hands on him, but he shouldn't hit me back because I'm a woman. But it's like, if you don't want to be hit back, then you need not hit. It's as simple as that. And I get that especially trans women, it puts them in an even more difficult predicament, because it's like, yeah, I obviously don't want to hit you, because no matter which way that pendulum swings, they will be painted as the villain. Even if it's, yo, this girl came at me with a bottle in her hand, a taser in the other, her shoes had knives sticking out of them, I had to defend myself. And people will still pull but you were born a man, you're stronger than her. She knew I was stronger than her, and that didn't stop her from attacking me. So who's to say that it's not okay that I defend myself? I think that's where the line needs to be drawn. Self-defense is self-defense, respectfully.
Yeah.
Like, if you hit me in my face, please believe my parents taught me, if someone puts their hands on you, you put your hands back, period. Yep. But to be the initiator or the aggressor as far as the physical violence goes, I don't think that's okay. Especially because, again, unfortunately for the trans woman in the scenario, even if that cisgender woman said the worst thing that was ever said in the history of the world, people are still going to side with her just because she's cisgender. You will still be paying the consequences. It's not right, but it is the way that it is right now. Yeah. So, tricky topic, but it's a case-by-case scenario, I will say.
That's what I think so too.
Yeah.
Ash,
what was the question? Sorry.
Do you feel that a trans woman should be able to fight you if provoked and or unprovoked?
I feel like, just like Bia said, you put your hands on me, I'm gonna put my hands back on you. It is what it is. But you talking people have an issue with people's words. If you cannot read, stay out the classroom. Leave people alone, because obviously if you're trying to have an argument with somebody, and you're so hell bent on, okay, I'm going to argue with this person. If they say something, I'm going to react this way. And if you know you're going to react that way, stay out of arguments. If you know that you don't like trans women, stay away from them. It takes nothing to stay away from them. It takes nothing to be like, girl, bye. Because it's literally a girl, bye. Because what you going to do? You going to turn me around and hit me? No, none of these people are going to do these things to you. So you getting into an argument or you getting into a spat with somebody, it should never go to y'all putting your hands on each other. We are getting grown. You're going to jail. I'm pressing charges. Like, I don't think people understand that. Even as a woman, I'm not fighting you, woman. I'm pressing charges. You're going to jail. I have a child. I have things that I have to live for. And if you don't have nothing that you need to live for, that's on you, baby. But I'm not about to be down with you. So I don't feel like you should put your hands on trans women. Trans women, for the most part, they know they don't want to put their hands on women, especially because they know they're a little stronger than women.
That's my problem with Knowledge TV, because it's like, in my experience, the trans women that I know, they know like that's like literally the last to no resort to do that.
Right.
And Knowledge TV makes it seem like this is happening every day. Like
exactly. And I feel like that's
all over the media. And
it makes people feel that this is what's going on. And it's like, no, they are not putting their hands on each other.
I just don't think Joyce would do that if the cameras were not on. She wouldn't have gotten so loud with Holly. It would have been like, oh, I don't like you anymore, or I gotta see if Stoney did do it. Do I think she would have fought if the cameras were on? No.
I'm gonna keep on saying it. It's the alcohol. The alcohol is gonna always play a picture, because it gets people to want to touch each other. It gets people want to get in their face, and now you spitting and you doing all the extra. That's alcohol. And you have a bunch of young people on alcohol. It's not grown people. You know, it's not like a basketball wives and they're drinking their wine and they'll throw a glass and it's like, all right, girl. It's not that type of vibe. It's these people are drinking hard liquor and they are acting out from it. They're in the house with each other and they got beef with each other. It's now that's set up.
Now that's set up.
And they're just going off on each other, you know. But go ahead, Portia. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. I think everybody should keep their hands on themselves. No one should put their hands on each other. If you can't use your words, then you know. But a lot of these people are young. They have to learn, and like we said, now that's TV. I think they're trying to normalize that, because I didn't start seeing trans put hands on, you know, cis women until I started watching that, you know, that network. So, you know, it's kind of like you like a deer in headlights. Like, okay, so when this was normal, like when we started doing this. So I understand exactly where you're coming from with it. But you know, a lot of people are impressionable, especially young people. So I think that we need to start calling that out, because they're very more naive, and they'll think that it's okay to do that. So I think that we need to hold that network on accountability of what they're showing our youth and our young people, so that they don't think that it's okay. Because I'm looking like, when we started doing this, you know, everybody has always been respectable, you know. So, you know, that's new to me. That's something that I haven't seen before.
I'm young and it's new to me too. Trust me. I was like, whoa, that's what got me so into that. I'm like, wow, they really like this is really going on. But yeah, go ahead, Breezy.
Yeah, so I feel like we have to discuss what provoke means, just like Bia said. Yeah. If I hit you, I can't tell you what you're gonna do to me. You know what I mean? So I have to be prepared, and that goes for anybody. That goes for trans men, another woman, a cisgender woman. It doesn't matter. If I put my hands on you, I have to be prepared for what's going to be reciprocated from that. So what I teach, you know, well, not what I teach, but what I discuss with people is like, if we're women and we're ladies, we have to carry ourselves as women and ladies don't go around just boxing each other out. You know what I mean? Like, then you're gonna start running into the hood booger category. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a woman. That's not a lady. That's not somebody who wants to present themselves in any way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? So, and that goes for every single woman, whether you're trans or not. So if you're gonna tell me that you're carrying yourself as a woman, then I'm gonna expect you to hold yourself to the standards of a woman. And that, to me, I categorize it as somebody that doesn't put their hands on anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody.
I really feel like Kenzie, she could have made Tasha K look so dumb. And I hate the fact that she took that approach. I get she was offended, but because she knows how to use her words too.
She does.
Yeah, Joyce doesn't. Joyce to me
does.
is like not that intelligent.
Kenzie's
Kenzie's intelligent.
Kenzie's
in my
older
opinion.
than Joyce.
Right.
People tend to forget that Joyce is like 21 to 23.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She's young.
Like, she's very young, and you could really
and young-minded.
tell. Yes, and the alcohol makes her kind of come across as a baby. Like, she actually,
a 12-year-old.
When she was rhyming, it was like, it sounded like, don't do it with your, it sounded like goo goo gaga. You know what I mean? As a child talking. So it's kind of like, I kind of put Joyce in a separate category because I know how young she is, and she has a lot more learning and growing to do. And she is who she is. Kenzie, I think she does a lot of it for TV, but because it was very clout chasing for her to get right back on Tasha K. So it's kind of like, what was your outcome here? Did you want to hit her, or did you want to get a spot on her television show? Did you want to be like Diamond the Body? So it just, you kind of got to question her and how much she wants to be famous. Right. That's really on Kenzie's perspective. And actually, Kenzie's starting to die out to me too.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to phase her out of Now That's TV. I just wish that, like, had she eloquently read Tasha K to the point where Tasha K would have been like gagged, because I've seen her gagged before. There's a couple people I've seen on YouTube that have gagged her, that she's been like, what's her name? Nosy Ho Live is one, but right, you know. So if she met somebody that was trans that was able to verbally, like, not take her down, but verbally go back and forth with her banter wise, I think that would have been like, oh, okay, instead of what Kenzie did. But Kenzie, of course, was offended. So yeah, Blue, what do you have to say?
I wanted to touch on, I think Portia said something about like how this represents, with kids. Back in October, I don't know what the heck happened with all my kids. I teach 100 kids all throughout the day. And for some reason, they just started going crazy. I mean, they started having fights, like girls who I never would have thought, would have been arguing, were confronting each other in the cafeteria, like all this rah. Oh, wow. And then next thing you know, I'm hearing, man, I eat. And I go, oh, no.
There we go.
No.
And I'm to blame too with this channel. I ain't gonna lie.
But things like this is really important, because I sat down with my kids and I was like, y'all know that's a television show, right? I said, you put your hands on somebody in real life, you're going to jail. Like, they're pressing charges. Like, that, no cute security guard, security bay is going to be holding you back. Like, it's going to be some
Lemmy's not going to be
stuff.
around.
Yeah, you're not going to get paid for it. You're not going to be, so it is this, sort of fantasy that kind of comes with it. But I think back when we were, in that age, and BGC was out, and, how hype it was and stuff like that. So I think it's really about setting the reality for all these things. Like, no, you're not really going to put your hands on somebody because I don't want to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? That's like the last option. I grew up with brothers. I used to watch them fight in high school because of just petty stuff. But like, they would just get suspended for a day or something and come back. One of my younger brothers, twin brothers, he got into a fight with his twin. Ended up pulling a weapon on him, and they were 18 when it happened, and he ended up going to jail. And he was like, I didn't think I was going to go to jail, like, because he had never taken the fights that he'd gotten in high school serious. He was like, oh, I'll just get suspended. But when he actually put his hands on somebody in real life, he was in DeKalb County, jail. So I think it's definitely a fantasy part that comes into play, especially with kids. Like, kids, they just see this stuff on TV and they just think it's cool. You know, it's the freshest thing, but it's really, it's it's not real life. You know, you put your, like you
Right.
said, you put your hand on somebody in real life, it's not gonna be pretty.
Right.
You know?
That's what I want people to understand. That's why when I see people in the comments like outraged, I feel like they should be more so outraged that this is even putting out, and like I'm guilty of it too. So I'm talking about myself of some all this content being put out there because it's affecting the younger generation. They're thinking like, oh, it's okay to just go out and do this or that, and like nothing's gonna happen because it's cool and it's TV, and like it's not TV. Like there's no TV in the real world. Like you gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
So one question I want to ask, do you think that when it comes to trans people, when it comes to sports, should trans people be allowed in the same league, or should there be separate leagues created, or should they play for their natural born league? Starting off with Bia.
Ooh, that is such a tricky question
Yep.
because I think about that a lot. I grew up with 7 brothers. I have so many nieces and nephews. I grew up in an athletic family, and I'm not athletic at all. And I feel like now, maybe it's the media, maybe it's the power that you see so many articles and stories in the news and in the media about a student who was unsuccessful in their athletic endeavors while playing as their cisgender sex, who now transitions into a woman who is super successful, and they're dusting these girls in track, and they're kicking their ass in swimming, and they're doing all of these things, but when they played as a male, they were unsuccessful or less than mediocre, to say the least. And I think it's a very hard thing to distinguish because is it really all inclusive if we're setting up another team? But at the same time, if the science shows that if this girl experienced puberty as a male before she fully transitioned, and she has all the strength that came with being, and some of these kids haven't started hormones, they haven't, gotten, the surgeries. They're 16 years old. It, as a parent and as like a person, sometimes you're like, wait, no, it needs to be separate because you can't really tell the genuity or how genuine someone is about that transition. Are you just doing this to excel because you need a scholarship and this is going to be your ticket into the league or into the college? And I think that kind of transfers into the question of how old should children be before we allow them to transition. Because again, we don't know who's really telling the truth or not. In the age of social media, a kid or person, a grown adult, can go on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or Google and learn the way that they need to lie to a psychiatrist to get cleared for surge. They can learn that this is, everybody's has a story time video about it at this point. So it's not like it's 1998 and it's like, no, you really have to, this is your truth. This is your truth. You're living in your truth. There are people who are being taught by their own parents, like, look, this is a shortcut. Just take it for now. Don't take the hormones. Don't, get the reaffirming surgery, but just do this because you will excel. So in children's league, high school, I think that it should be separate to an extent. But the problem with that is, how do you do that? How do you effectively put that into place without, how can I say this, without
offending?
making them feel less than, or it's no longer inclusive. Because the cisgender girls are going to be like, that's not fair. They're born male. And then the cisgender men are going to be like, well, she sucked when she was on our team and now she's winning. That's not fair to us either. But the transgender girl is like, well, it's not fair to me either because I didn't choose to be trans. I was born this way. So sorry that at this age I've decided to start living in my truth. You can't damn someone for doing that. I I think it's going to be a long time before we get to that point where we can find a common ground. I do think that some regulations need to be in play, but I don't know the effective way to go about that. So I don't want to say a flat out yes or a flat out no. I think it's a very, very, very gray area that needs to have input from both sides, both the cisgender and the trans person in this case, because for the people who truly are trans, it sucks when your win is being demonized because, oh well, you were born with these these male genetics, so it's just not fair. Your wins are being made to seem less than because of something you had no control over, and this is a way that you felt your entire life. So for me, I'm in a middle ground. I don't know how everyone else feels though.
I definitely agree with being in that middle ground. I don't feel like they need a whole institution by themselves simply because of the hate that's going to come behind it. The gawking, the mockery, the going to the games just to be disrespectful and to be demeaning to them. So I don't want them to be in one place and that's their audience. Like it becomes a circus instead of what they came there to do, the sport that they came to play. So I feel like it should be a open discussion where everybody's respectful and they come to some type of middle ground to it, because trans people do want to play a sport. It's Americans' pastime to play sports too. So they want to play just as well.
All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. Hopefully they come to some, middle ground of allowing them to play and be part of a team, because that's essentially what they want to do. They want to be part of the team.
All right. Portia?
Now, you would have to call me. I don't know about that one here. I just don't know, because...
Be honest. Like I said,
I'm being honest. I don't know, because how can I say it? How would you be able to satisfy either party in that matter? Because if, say for instance, a transgender woman comes in and competes with us women with the women's team, and the women's team feel a ways, and then that transgender woman feels a ways because they won't accept them. I don't think we at that point to make that decision I don't think, because everybody is not compassionate. They don't sympathize. We don't have that yet. So to say, I can't answer that question. I don't know.
Blue? Blue, you still there?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm still there. I ordered wings from DoorDash and they delivered the wrong thing twice. So I'm in a mood.
I heard ruffling it and opening it. I'm like, oh my God.
Man, I'm pissed. But anyway, what was the question? I'm sorry. I can't
Do you feel like trans people should have their own league or should be able to play in their respective gender sports?
I don't know. That's a tough one, because I think of sports like basketball, and that's actually where I just came from. I was watching my kids play basketball, the boys and girls game. It is just a completely different game than watching the women play and the guys play. Like it's just a completely different game. Like the way their bodies move is different. Their body weight, everything is just different. You know what I'm saying? Volleyball's the same way. Swimming, like all those sports, like I've played them. And it's just different the way that women do it versus the way that men do it. It's a reason why in swimming, the 50 free, like the records are different. Like it's a reason, because just genetically men have more strength. Like they just do. They have more endurance. Not saying a woman cannot build up her endurance, to beat, some male, but I think it's tricky, because what then are you going to do? Are you going to have a different league for them? Or what are the stipulations for that? And I think that's where it gets really tricky, But I think my real question is like, why is it it's 2023 and this is just now becoming like, people are just now thinking, like, what should trans people? Trans people have probably been competing in these sports for years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, just because you're trans and you're in a sport, as opposed to the gender that you were born in, doesn't mean you're going to be winning and beating everybody. That doesn't mean you're naturally an athlete. There's some men I can outrun today. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that necessarily means just because they're trans they're going to win, they're going to have the advantage. I do think genetically that there are some advantages, but I wouldn't count women out completely. I definitely do think that there needs to be some stipulations with that.
All right, Breezy.
Okay, so I do believe that I'm sorry, I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that there should be a actual trans like athletic, league.
Mm-hmm.
But hear me out when I say this, and I know I'm going to sound a little weird, but I also believe that if trans women were taking their hormones actively for 10 years or better, they should be able to transition into, and men too, they should be able to transition into the other, like if they want to go to the women's league, they can. If they want to go to the males league, that they can. Only because I understand biologically how the hormones do support them and how long they can take them and how it could really, like a trans woman, if they're taking their hormones actively every day and they're on their hormone treatment medication, they really have estrogen. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think that they shouldn't have to go against somebody who's in the trans and they just started taking it, but they're in the athletic league. So I don't want to sound like ignorant, but I'm not sounding educated at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand what you're saying. All right. Leah in the back, just so you guys know, says transgender women should not compete in sports. She says no discussion of transgender people want to play sports. Then make a transgender league to compete with other transgenders. So this is what Leah had to say that you guys met earlier. And then one last question I wanted to ask. What do you guys think is a big misconception that you guys feel that the media puts out about cisgender women against transgender women that you feel like needs to stop, or just against the trans community that needs to stop?
Who are we starting with?
Via.
Okay. I will start with my original point that trans women are not a threat to cisgender women. Trans men are not a threat to cisgender men. At no point do I think that on either side of the transgender spectrum are they like, yeah, we're the real men, or yeah, we're the real women, we're going to eliminate you. They cannot exist without the other. Women are having the babies. Men are making them. I think that the divide and conquer tactic works so easily when it comes to topics like this and race. And it's so heavily, like, the success rate is through the roof, and it always will be, because all you have to do is make someone feel like they're after you. And just that quickly, the oppressed will become the oppressor. And so now you have women who have struggled with maternity or fertility now saying, nope, no, we can't work on the rights of trans women having babies because you need to fix me first. It's so quick to be like, look, they're going to get there before you. And people are like, nope, can't have it. I have to get there first. When really it needs to be, whether you finish the marathon first or you finish the marathon last, you finish the race. And I think that it's so easy to pit the two positions against each other. So that would be the one thing that I would say that people need to kind of accept in a sense and understand. I will forever have beef with Now That's TV because of how they display it. I also think an important thing to remember when it comes to Now That's TV and how they display it is that womanhood is not linear. So yeah, there's trans women on there fighting, but there's cisgender women fighting every day. So to be like, you need to be more womanly and not fight. I know some hood rat bitches down the block who will get busy right now. It's 30 degrees outside. You ain't saying nothing. Inhaler in the
Not at
pocket.
all.
I'm telling you, like, so we have to remember that, like, it's not, womanhood isn't this linear thing, especially when it comes to violence. We need to be saying that we need to be better people, not be better women, be better people. I know that I love to say that men used to go to war and die, and they don't do that anymore, but it comes down to just being a better person first. The same way that Leah was saying, I'm a person before I am trans. I was Black before I was a woman. You feel me? Like, so I think it's important that we remember that. And my beef with Now That's TV is always going to be them airing it. It's one thing for them to get into a scuffle afterwards. They could just as easily be like, look, tensions rise, things happened. We're not going to air that out of respect for both parties. Not because this is a woman versus a trans woman, but out of respect for both parties. And you can still be real raw if that's what they want to call it. But when you start putting the actual visuals into the media, especially when they know that their targeted audience is teens and younger 20s, the most impressionable minds that exist on the planet right now, it makes it normal to them.
And not
Though
even that, they'll see other trans and be like, "Oh, you're gonna try to fight me," when that trans person might not be thinking that. Or they're gonna try to fight a trans because they think the trans gonna be trying to, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, they doing a big
though,
disservice.
Yes, like even though we as real people can say, or the majority of people on this planet can say, I've interacted with trans people, I've worked with them, I've partied with them, I've commuted with them, whatever the case may be, and there was never any issues. There was a mutual respect, always. Half the times we don't even know. But when that's the media that's going viral and that's what is being promoted, it normalizes it. And all it takes is one rotten apple to spoil the bunch. So Now That TV is doing a disservice to both trans women, cisgender women, trans men, cisgender men, because the same outrage that was in the comments when Q was putting his hands on Diamond should have been the same outrage that was in the comments when Gucci and Duke were putting their hands on Jossie.
Joyce.
Were they the angels in the situation? No. But if we're going to be mad that men are hitting women, men are still hitting women, whether there's a trans in front or not. It's wrong. And unfortunately, social media, Now That's TV, they do a really good job at blurring that line for the people who don't care where the lines are drawn to begin with. So that's my take on it. They're not a threat. We're not a threat. One cannot exist without the other, respectfully. And even if there could, straight people birth gay kids every day, B. I'm bi as hell. My mama is from the South. Listen, hand to her Bible. How dare I? But they're not a threat. Love is love. Love each other. And if you can't love each other, keep your distance. It's as simple as that. Mind your bees. They mind their bees. That's all I got.
All right. Breezy, what do you think?
So I've always felt this way since I was like a lot younger. I felt like for a trans person to wake up and to go get the surgery, or not even get surgery, or just get the hormones, go to counseling, I respect it like so much more than I've ever like seen in my day-to-day life. Me as a woman, like I just got to get up, put on makeup, make sure my chin hairs are taken off, and
Damn chin hair.
put on a wig and keep going. But when it comes to trans women, it's like the respect that I have, it's like no other, because they deal with so much on a day-to-day basis. And I have nothing but to like tip my hat off to every single woman, trans or not, but definitely trans community. So I don't oppose them as a threat. Like I said, the one thing I will say is the ones like a little bit of the older school, like they'll tell you I'm a trans woman. and you make your own choice and your own decision to be with me on your own if that's what you want. But I can't deny who I am. I can't tell you, I can't tell you any different. So you have to do nothing but to respect that. You know what I'm saying? And it's no threat of me. Honey, I'm married. So I don't have I don't have those problems. I want to know if my man is cheating, period. You know what I'm saying? Yet alone cheating with trans. I want to know if you're cheating, period. So I still was able to get a man. So you are no threat of mine, because if I'm going to the straight clubs, quote unquote, and I'm meeting straight men, then that's in my community and what I'm doing. If if trans women are going to the straight clubs and they're saying, hey, this is what they want, and they're saying, hey, I'm trans, and the man wants that, that's what the man wants. That's what the man wants to be with. That's none of my business. That's none of my problem. So I don't see any threat whatsoever. Now, what I do wish is that we do come together a little bit more, as opposed to fighting a little bit more. And I hate to say this, but I do think some of the root is men. But that's a whole other subject. Because if you really want to see like what the real divide comes from, it comes from a man. I mean, people talk about Natus TV, but guess who runs Natus TV? Two Black men that are putting that stuff out there. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to say,
they're straight Black men, so it doesn't affect them. They don't care.
But not it's some of the root.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I'm saying, no, I'm proving your point. Like, that's the root of it, because it doesn't affect them.
Yeah. So it's just, sometimes I wish that we as women as a whole will kind of see that, and kind of just take a step back and be like, why am I beefing with you? And then when we get to the root of it, we'll be like, there was some man involved. So I don't got a problem. I'll just say that. Yeah.
All right. Portia.
I would say that not.
And the question is a big misconception out there about women against like trans women, like a big misconception that you think is false.
I don't think that all Black women or women in general are against them in some senses. Since the beginning of time, even with men, with our children, with gays, anything, we have stood on the front line to stand to fight with them. So sometimes I feel like you do have to put a little bit of respect on our name in some sense. We birth you. But we're not all against you. You know what I'm saying? Like we were saying, that maybe it's more so with the younger crowd. They feel better than. But I feel like if you have that confidence in yourself, no one can tell you anything. Nobody can tell me, oh, I'm better than, because no one can walk in Portia's shoes.
Right.
In a sense. So, I just feel like we should be more compassionate with that. Not saying that we hate them. I'm just talking about the dumb ones, not more so the educated ones. Right. In a sense, we stand on the front line, and also they stand on the front line with us, because I learned a lot of tricks and trades from them. Also, they tell us about our men and stuff. But like they were saying, it all boils down and roots down to men. But I just think it's just the dumb women that just say, they still our men, and when our reality is your man, that's the one that's undercover. It's not
right, and that goes back to Breezy's point, the man.
Say that does it, he's the one that's undercover. He's the one that's lying to you. It don't have nothing to do with them. But when you're not securing yourself, then those are the excuses that you're going to make in that. So it just, with education, it goes hand in hand with us, and if we stand together, we can move mountains with it. And it all boils down to us just sticking together. It's just sad that we don't, and you try to figure out how can we get to that point to do that. We all said we know that it's there, we know that it needs to change, but what steps to take to make us band together to get that way? So that's what I say.
All right.
I agree.
Cash.
I definitely agree. The men's do definitely play a part into it, and insecurity plays a part into it as well. A lot of Black women need to understand that the patriarchy, we all fall in that. Like even the men, and it they don't understand that they're in it, and we Black women, we see the blunt of it. Like we see the horrors that surround the patriarchy, and we try to inform and we try to say something, and we're always put down, we're always told to shut up and da da da. So a lot of times we lash out on the people that we feel like we can lash out on. We lash out on the people we feel like we can't get that one up on. So some Black women do feel like, oh, well, I'm born a woman, so I could say I'm born a woman, and I'm and being called cis that's degrading and that's disrespectful, when in all reality, it's not. The only reason y'all feel like it's disrespectful is because y'all call trans women trans, because y'all use that as an insult. Being cis is not an insult.
Really, it's not.
I want to ask, to just piggybacking off of that, why do you think women take like offense when the term cis is used? Like just when because I really feel like it's only used, just from when I've seen it, when we're talking about trans women. I don't ever see it in my like everyday life. Somebody be like, "Oh, is that a cisgender woman over there?" Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, why do you think it's an offensive term in regard to talking about trans?
Can I step in?
Like,
go ahead.
No, it's really a lack of well, not gonna say lack of education, but it's kind of like
sure is.
This cisgender woman is the clinical term for biological women in the clinical field. If that is a term, so I guess it's going over the biological woman's head, and I think it's because okay, when I seen it is when it had the uproar when that girl from the video and she was like cisgender women.
Right.
That's
TikTok.
because it came from a trans woman. They automatically took offense to it. And it was like, I didn't take offense to it. I was like, child, I've been using cis, you know what I'm saying, gender when it comes to LGBTQIA education, period. That's an educational thing. If you go to training as a counselor and you refresh your training every year, they call them cisgendered women. They don't say the biological woman. They say cisgendered woman. And that's how you separate from that and trans. So I think we took it as as offensive, but we really should have took it as, oh, this is the educational way to say this. So that's how I feel.
I agree with you, Pierre. I think that the issue is that, at least for a lot of women, outside of the miseducation, is the fact that they didn't start hearing the cisgender term until the conversations about trans started taking place. Which is the same thing for a lot of women who have the beef with being called a woman versus being called a female. These aren't conversations or thoughts that had crossed their mind until the trans conversations started to take place. So now they feel categorized, which is crazy because you were born woman. It's not like this is like some AKA, like we're calling you cisgender, but really we mean less than. Like, no, that is the scientific term. You are cisgendered. Regardless of what you put in front of it, you're still a woman. But I do agree with you where the trans conversation is what has those thongs 2 sizes too small. So it's ripping up some women's asses when they hear that cis term in front. I personally don't care. I was born woman. I mean, it is what it is. What my coochie is my coochie. I don't know.
I definitely agree because but it trickles down to they use trans as an insult, as a slur. And then when cis became about and we got educated with cisgendered women, cisgendered men, they felt like that was an insult to them. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not an insult. It's what you are, sweetie. It's what you are. How you mad? But because you use trans as an insult. In all reality, B, I'm a little disagree with you because female is used as an insult. It's clear as day used as an insult. That it means bitch. It means bitch every time. It not even half the time because they go woman and then female, and it's like, yeah,
you mean like
bitch.
for example, like, oh, you're acting like a female.
Yeah, like, oh, these females, and then you be like, you turn around, and when it's you're trying to respect women, you go, oh yeah, that women, and it's like, oh, I respect you, women, but those females, and it's like, yeah, we can clearly tell the difference. Just say it. I'd rather you say bitch than try to call me a female, because I'm gonna call you a male, and we can get real scientific in here, but it's not as degrading as trying to call somebody a cis or trying to call somebody trans, because those are actual educational terms. Female can be a female of any sort. Female is a wide spectrum, and they're not using it in the sense of being scientific or being educational.
I agree with that, but that's the same thing as telling trans women to act like women. You make it a linear thing where it's like, this is the only way to behave as a trans person. You cannot be a trans woman if you are not acting like the cookie cutter Caucasian version of what they believe a woman should be. And I don't think that's fair. I do agree with you where the people like, you're calling me female in terms of like, we're speaking of animals, like a bitch or a female cow. I 100% understand that, but also a lot of these niggas don't. So I don't really care what they say.
They don't. They're not educated, child. That's why I don't even argue. I just leave the men that say female. Child, leave you alone. Let me delete you. Let me block you and move on. Because I don't even have the time for the conversation. And even with women, because I got into it with a woman not too long ago about the list that came out. And it's like, she used female, and I'm like, even the way you using female, let me let you step back.
When you say list, can you clarify what you mean by that?
The list of the places of the restaurants that women weren't go to, where it was like, oh, his house, and it's like, no, nigga, nobody's going to your house on a first date. It's a lot of places that if you're not having the conversation with somebody, and that's why a lot of people have an issue now with everything, because they're trying to put everybody in a box and believe that when you see an individual and they somewhat fit that image of the box that you believe they should be in, that's how you feel that they are, and that's how you want to interact with them. And it's like, no, just like how you see Black women, how you see trans women, how you see trans men, and it's like, you need to stop putting people in a box. They are individuals. If they are going to be respectful, you meet them. If they're respectful, they're respectful. If they're not, they're not. But stop trying to mold people into being what you are. Just like women. That's why I don't feel no type of way about any Black woman expressing herself as she feels like, because it's not my place to put you in a box. I'm not putting you in no box because I don't want to be put in no box. As a person that has all types of friends, that can make all types of friends, I'm a very people person. I don't see myself trying to taint your image or try to make you feel less than what you are because society sees you as being less than what you are. Because that's what we're doing. That's what everybody is doing. Society sees you less than, so I'm going to treat you less than. And that's so messed up. It's the we want to be allies. Everybody's saying, oh yeah, we allies and we respect this, but then the moment that you don't like something, you ready to disrespect the whole community. And it's like, no, that person is an individual. Let them be individuals. And when it's a group thing, it's a group thing. But it's not a bunch of trans women doing the things that y'all saying. It's one person. And
no, you're 100% right with that. Because even with the reaction video that I did when it comes to the live, people didn't even watch the full video because they're like, oh, you take it up. And I'm like, y'all clearly didn't watch the full video, because anybody that watches me know I'm not no big fan of Joyce. That's like, exactly. They can't always call out her lies and her doing the most. So like, y'all didn't watch the full video. Y'all just automatically assume because I'm gay that I was like, Team Joyce, Team Kenzie.
Exactly.
No, I'm Team none of them. All of them, in my opinion, were wrong in a way.
It's like you're right when you're right and you're wrong when you're wrong. And a lot of people have to realize that a lot of y'all be wrong. Y'all need to educate yourselves, especially within the Black community, because it blows mine. Like it honestly, it gets on my nerves. That's why I stay to myself. and I just because I don't have the
patience,
time, right? The time nor the patience to try to educate you. And you 30, like you're old, and you should have some type of leverage with, damn, let me look at myself and really see what's wrong with me to see why I want to go out and disrespect strangers, because these are strangers.
Because that's what kills me too. Like people like that are older watching this, like they see a clip of this on Instagram, so in their mind they're thinking, "Oh my God, like I could walk out the street and the trans woman just knock me upside my head because I looked them the wrong way." Like
right, and it's like no, they're not doing that, baby. They minding their business. But it's not even just seeing a trans person outside, because not only are you on the defense, but you turn around and be defensive and disrespectful because you see a trans person. And it's like, all that is not needed. Mind your business and move accordingly. We don't live in a time where people should not know the basics of respect, the basics of empathy. Like, it's basic shit, and we should know it. And as a society, we don't have empathy. We show that every day. We show that we are not able to empathize with people. We're not able to have a type of rehab type of situation where people understand and can rehabilitate themselves to be better people. No, because the children are the way they are because they see jail is all right.
Right.
It's not just the reality television. Jail got cameras. Jail got phones. Jail, they on TikTok. They doing the dances. They in there gambling. So it's like all the kids are seeing that. I don't have a TikTok, and even I see it. So it's like we have to be realistic about what's going on and not trying to make certain groups and certain communities the enemy of our problems, because it's not. Right. You need to look in the mirror.
Now, I'm going to bring everybody that's still up backstage. And if you guys want to ask any questions to each other so we can end it off, and if anybody wants to just make some final statements just on this topic in general before I do end off this conversation.
I'll just say that I respect the opinions of everybody here. And I appreciate y'all for showing up for Pierre, first of all.
Thank you. I was worried. Ask Cash. It was just me and her. I'm like, damn.
I was interested.
Yes, and you got to understand, like, it's a trailblazing conversation, especially for you and for someone who covers the kind of content that you do. It's always a key for the people reviewing it and for the messy comments, but they're never really getting into the real life when the cameras stop rolling, because reality TV is reality TV, but these people have to go home and live the rest of their lives after this. There's no telling what kind of backlash Jossie might get in real life because someone feels some type of way about her fighting Holly, or that Holly might get because she fought Jossie. And I think that it's important that people are able to express their legitimate experiences, because all I've heard since I've been here and came back is that a lot of them are similar. Whether you're trans, you're cis, you're non-binary, a lot of these, you know how it's always on Twitter, like, damn, none of my life experiences are unique. Like, yeah, we might cry about different things and we might have to fight different battles, but a lot of them are also super, super similar. And I think that is what is needed to really progress the community forward. And that's outside of Black women and Black men and Black LGBTQIA, and it's the community period as people. I think that once people start to understand that, yo, it's not just a you versus me. We're all doing this together. And the same respect that you have for yourself, you can have for me. And the same respect I have for myself, I can have for you, even if we're disagreeing. It doesn't have to resort to, well, you were born this, not that, or something hateful. Have the conversation. You either walk away in agreement or you don't. But now you have another perspective that you can take with you going forward. So shout outs to you, Fran.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you all for showing up too. Anybody else, if you guys have any final thoughts, anything that I did cover that you weren't on screen for, if you wanted to give your thoughts on something that you weren't able to, before I do end it off.
I just wanted to say this has been really, really eye-opening. Growing up, I really had no knowledge about transgenders. Like, I really just had zero knowledge about them. So just to hear y'all's stories, like, in person, like, just to see y'all is just really amazing. So I just really appreciate y'all being vulnerable, answering the questions, and like that. It's really awesome. So, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else?
Well, I have a last thing to say. I already said it in the chat. I think that when trans women react a certain way to some women, I think that stems from when we were children. Like when I was a boy, my mom used to say like, "Don't wear those heels" or "Don't put up makeup." And so when you're a transgender woman and a woman says to you like you're a man, or it almost feels like you're that kid again, and your femininity is taken away from you. And they don't have to say it, but it feels like they're saying like, just act like a man because you know you're a man. That's the feeling I used to get until I talked to my mom, and I really explained to her like that really hurt me, and she didn't even know that she did that. And I think some trans women still carry that internal hate with them, just like some men also sometimes like hate their mother for some of the choices they made, and they project that off to women that they date because they don't treat their mother that way. And then I think it's sometimes the same way with transgender women. So I think transgender women have to keep that in mind, that just because you're a transgender woman now does not mean that the trauma that you had as a kid does not affect the way that you handle certain situations.
And I definitely agree with you, Leah. And I also want to piggyback on, we women, we got to start taking them so personal, and we have to stop going back and forth. And it goes for the homosexual man too. Like the homosexual men, they go off on their mothers, and then they go off on Black women. And it seems like we're always getting the brunt of it.
Yeah.
So we as Black women, I highly, highly encourage everybody in this chat, everybody in this panel. Thank you, Pierre, for doing this.
Thank you.
Please go to counseling.
Thank you for showing up.
Yeah, please go to counseling. Please know who you are as a person. And once you figure out who you are as a person, you're not going to take everybody so personal. You're going to be like, oh, that's their own trauma that they're dumping off on me, and let me swerve to the right. And let me be around people that know, love, and respect me and create that type of energy. So I feel that energy in here. So I just want to thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Leah, I think me and you are the only two T-girls here in the chat tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Forgive me if and I just love your transparency. You know, you're very much grown, you're self-aware, as are a lot of the other ladies here in the chat tonight. So I think a takeaway from this, clearly it's a healthy debate. The love is there. There's no real division in real life happening. So we shouldn't let, now that's TV, whatever they're putting out to the world. That hate is not live in our lives, at least.
Right. Now, I don't feel like it's as extreme. If it is there, I don't think it's as big of a percentage as we're being shown.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. I wish that's kind of the point of this live too. Okay, so make sure you guys please like and subscribe to this video. If you guys would like to follow any of these lovely people that showed up to this panel, please you know, follow them on their social media in the bio. I'm gonna list their social medias in the bio. I want to thank all of you guys for joining. You guys did not have to do this and stay this long and this late talking to the kids. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully we could do this a lot further with other topics as well, because I think other topics we need to do this as well too. So thank you guys so much for showing up.
Thank you very much, and I love all of y'all.
Thank you. Love you.
Love y'all.
All right, night, y'all.
All right,
bye.
Night.
No personal thing.